So I want to open with bad news. More bad news. We had bad news last week. It's bad news this week. If you guys recall, we put something out to our listeners last week that if you were of the female persuasion, to please email us and let us know that you listen. We got absolutely 100% zero emails from any female listeners. So.
I figured. I told you.
So it looks like back to the drawing board, boys.
I feel like we might have used to. If you guys
would have fucking watched Sex and the City sequel with me and had a conversation about it, yeah. But anyway, so there's that. World's still going crazy. Still getting by, and still
simulation is fine.
Yeah. We got a lot actually this week. There is one note in here I also want to get to immediately, only because it's a question, but it was sent via Twitter, and luckily Phil keeps tabs on those sorts of things. Otherwise, it would always go completely by the wayside. But it is Passive Bear that always sends those.
Just real quick for everyone else except Passive Bear. Where do you send questions to for this show?
At Nerd Rage Radio. Oh, I'm sorry, not at. So I'm still thinking Twitter.
I was confused.
Nerd Rage Radio Mail at gmail.com.
There you go.
So he says, hey, crew, if it were made for you in top-notch quality, you wouldn't have to do jack but be there. Who could you cosplay as at a con? I guess he means like, who would you cosplay as at a con? If you could cosplay, I guess, as anything you wanted, you'd have to do any of the work, and it was going to fit perfectly. What would be like your number one?
Let me think here.
You know, the thing is about this question is that, like, it's not that simple, right? Because, like, you know, if I want to be a character that is, you know, like if I wanted to be, take Christian Bale from The Machinist when he weighed like 80 pounds.
That's not really
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just as an extreme example, there's nothing about cosplay, like costumes being ready, that's going to change the dynamics of my physical features.
It's not.
It's
not.
I mean, that's one of the things I did care
but
about
also,
when I did cosplay.
Right.
But also, how hilarious is it when no one knows who the fuck you are?
Just a
Because guess
dude.
what? I want to be Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I definitely don't have the body to pull that off, which I think would lend to the comedy factor.
Right. They'll be like, what kind of costume is Bobby wearing? Is just whitey tighties and he looks tired?
just a Tuesday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, some people don't. A lot of people don't care, like of like your own body shape and skin color and all that. They just cosplay what you want, which is cool. But
yeah,
I can't. I put a restriction on myself when I cosplay. I'm like if I'm too far off on the mark, I
would probably say Darth Vader.
I won't do it.
Because I think with my height, it would look really good.
That
And
would fucking work.
If I can just stand there Tony Stark style with my arms out and people dress me, and then I'm...
They put makeup on you too, so you can like take off your helmet and look like that guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do all that. I would just wear the helmet. Make sure they have a cooling fan.
You could do it though.
Yeah.
The same head shape.
I think...
What the fuck, Joe?
I don't know if I have like a go-to. I think that like Darkseid would be fun to do. You know, but they'd be like, damn, Darkseid's 5'11".
Well, listen, no. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think if you could just snap your fingers and be in a Darth Maul get up, I think that would not have to do the face paint.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. Anything for you, Joe?
Someone come finish my power armor, please.
Oh, yeah. How's that going?
I mean, it was great when I was working on it, and I haven't worked on it for, like, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years.
It's interesting. Like, I've seen little bits and pieces of it. You know?
I mean, it's like 60% done.
Yeah. I've seen like I think the boots and
Boots with the fur.
shins.
You know, the whole torso and legs are made.
Wow.
They haven't been like painted, but they're made. The helmet is made. Shoulder bit are made. The arms aren't finished.
What are you making that out of?
That's foam. That's like
EVA foam?
dense foam. Yeah. Like, yeah.
How do you
Like,
get it so clean?
Little Asian hands, bro.
What tools are you using?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
Contact cement.
They'll kick him out of the guild.
Contact cement.
Contact cement makes real good seams. You take the time to do it, and then also light sanding. Foam can be sanded lightly.
Yeah.
And then seal it with some kind of
Or heavily.
thick primer. Oh yeah, for you. But the only thing is, like, it always happens to me a lot when I'm doing a project and like I'm missing a piece. I'm like, oh, I need to get that piece to keep going, and I just don't get the piece.
Right.
I was literally missing like one thing, and like once you lose momentum, it's just like,
well, and
okay,
probably in your mind, you're like, if I never get that piece, I'll never have to finish.
So before we get into Nerd Weeks this week, do a little bit unorthodox. I want to have a Batman conversation.
Remix.
And get it out of the way. I am going to put markers in here. I'm going to write them down now, just so you guys, if you have not seen it and want to skip it, you can look in the notes and you can tell that we started this conversation at about 5 minutes and 30 seconds, and it will go until it goes. So I saw it. Chris saw it. Laura and Kelly saw it, but not together.
Right.
And so let's start with, this is going to be spoilers. We're not doing any spoiler free.
99.
98, 97. This is how many push-ups Pattinson has done his entire life. 96. And I didn't dislike, as a conversation I want to bring up, his lack of jackness never bothered me. But anyway.
Build the booth.
So I want to say, let's start with a letter grade first. What is your letter grade?
I'm an A-.
Okay.
And you say yours, and then I'm going to say something else that may.
I'm a C+.
Okay. My A- is based on the fact that I'm not 100% sure this is a superhero movie.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's I think that a lot of them I think that I feel the same way about Batman Begins and Dark Knight to a lesser extent.
That trilogy is because we don't have soups yet, at least.
Yeah.
And that, I think, grounds the story a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is probably the most grounded Batman story ever told. So let's start with, and I want to make this clear to the listeners. A C+ does not mean that I hated it.
Yeah, please. I was talking to my wife about this morning, and I told her that you'd given it. My wife thoroughly enjoyed it.
Uh-huh.
There's some nitpicks, some things that make no sense, and I have some notes on some of those. But she said, "What's that mean from Bobby?" I said, "It means something completely different than it would be for you." It's like grading on this curve of all things ever created of all time.
Right.
Whereas I think ours it was a fucking fun movie, and we enjoyed the story, so it's an A.
I don't think it was bad, and there's plenty that I liked about it. I just didn't think it was great, and I didn't think it was awful.
C make degrees, bro. Like, C+ is not a bad grade.
No. So
many presidents and senators graduated with that average.
Let's talk about things that we liked. I imagine that your list is a baffling document at an A-.
I'll start. I thought it was shot brilliantly.
I agree.
I thought it was scored brilliantly. I know you're going to disagree. I love that same note running the whole.
So I love the Batman theme.
That very I haven't listened to the soundtrack or anything. I don't know if it's even out there yet.
I love the Batman theme. I think that Selina's theme sounds a lot like Batman Returns Selina's theme. It's like this, like sliding, like that. You know that note? It's almost like a scream, but it's not. It just was reminiscent. It was funny because Laura said that to me after. She was like, "It sounded like Batman Returns music, the Selina's music," and I was like, "I agree."
And I'm sure they take inspiration from there.
Bruce Wayne, with all of his billions of dollars,
yes,
needs to get an Apple Music subscription.
Okay,
so that he can stop listening to "Nothing in the Way" by Nirvana every 10 minutes.
Gotcha.
It was distracting for me.
I enjoyed that the music was a lot of the music was the same. It just seemed to ground and keep the story. To me, it made me focus on what was going on.
And to me, it took me out. Not the score. The score I was okay with.
So is it? I didn't watch it.
No, please.
Yeah.
I will not be watching this.
Yeah,
until
please. Which is next month, I hear.
Is it really?
That's what I heard.
Wow.
Fucking Batman.
Don't know if it's true.
So he's listening to a song a lot in the movie.
No, it's just
not. It's
used as a score.
It's used as a score. Okay, yeah. I don't know, because sometimes throughout movies people are listening to headphones, and then you hear the music.
That would have almost made more sense.
But yeah, I was going to say, because it does make sense sometimes. Like like every time you go to the gym, you listen to this one song to fucking get ready or whatever.
Yeah, or when you're sad or when you're angry or whatever. But I agree. This is just used as like,
as a background music.
It's in there and it's like, it's a lot. It's like 4 or 5 times. If it's once, you know, and I wouldn't have minded had it been once, but that did annoy me for whatever reason. And I think because
you didn't pick me about music.
Well, yes, that's true also. But to me, I think I also have personal baggage with that song. To me, one movie has already owned that song.
I see. I'm not familiar with the song that much. I mean, I know what it is, but I can't tell you I've heard it in. What else is it in, Bobby?
Jarhead. Which is a great.
I know what that is. I've never seen it.
It's a great fucking movie. But it's about a guy that's deployed. I want to say to Iraq. It's been a while.
It is. I believe it's Iraq. It's Jake Gyllenhaal as the lead star in it. Yeah.
And
that movie's
when he
10 years old.
So
12 years
probably
old.
More.
I can't remember. Like it's been a while.
Came out when I was in the film industry. I remember that.
Somebody sent one of the troops over there deployed. Their girlfriend sent them a video.
Oh yeah.
And everybody gets super excited. And it's her getting railed out by another dude. And she's like, fuck you, so-and-so to this dude. And shortly after that,
maybe I have seen that.
There is this montage, which I know you like, Chris.
I love a montage.
I know you do. And it's done to that music. And it has a lot to do with like the despair and the kind of hopelessness of being there. And it's done beautifully. It's done like a magnificent. It's a good movie. It's not an amazing movie, but it's a good movie. But that sequence is done amazingly. So when I see that, it distracts me. I think about Jarhead. I get lost in a whole bunch of other shit. I think one time could have been fine, but the fucking it was like, you know, like dude, like I don't know. Subscription is only. I mean, it was $5 a month. You know what I mean? So yeah, okay. Continue. Score.
I love the criminal, I guess more the detective element of this.
So that was one of the things that I loved about it. We finally get to see Batman be the greatest detective, and it gave me, and I think I've heard other people say this, but my wife disagreed, but it gave me 7 vibes.
So that's on my notes. It gave me seven vibes. And Joe, I'll tell you that
I love 7.
down to the notebooks and everything, you know, almost down to the ending. It's almost like they planned ahead when they were writing this film. Shout out to KJ Sparkles, my wife. She actually came up with that this morning. But I love that, the notebooks and all that. It was almost too close to something like that.
That's fair.
But I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the interaction of the police with Batman, and in this world, they've got some sort of relationship,
right? Because he is established, and they took down Maroni together,
right? Which I thought it was a very well written story as well, with the accidental slush fund that the Waynes created that basically has been fueling the organized crime in Gotham for the past 30 years or whatever. I just thought that was brilliant the way that was written.
I'm trying to think what else because the story is actually one of my negatives.
Okay, well, I've got more. After all said and done, I really do like the suit. Once I see him wearing it,
I was okay with the suit. I'm still not okay with the mask.
Okay, I like
every time I see the figure come up in my Instagram, I'm like, I don't want. I like
the nose thing. I like the way it looks. It reminds me. There's a lot of cues from a lot of artists in here. Like that reminds me of like a John Romita Jr. style thing he would have done.
There's a lot of Lee. I fuck his last name up, Bermagero. If you look up his art, like he's
Bermagero.
He's wearing
Uncle Phil.
He's wearing like pants.
Yeah,
you know, that are like tacked up and everything, like, which reminds me of Lee Bermagero's
Makes
Batman.
sense.
But go ahead.
Yeah, like so the cape always looked goofy to me, but seeing it in like on him in the film, it's more like a leather material. It almost looked like satin or something sometimes. I mean, you know, the whole Batarang thing on his chest, basically his bat emblem comes off and it becomes a weapon.
There's a statue based on the Batman zombie version of Lee Bermagero's art.
Okay. I got you.
But kind of in that pocket, you know?
Yeah. Pocket
like
pouches.
pants.
Pocket pouches. Let's see, what else? I like the Batmobile. After all said and done, I really do. I like it.
Yeah, I didn't care for that either.
I like that the Batcave was actually the end of the rail line there, which is from a book.
So that's something that I thought might bother me. Didn't at all. I didn't love it, but it didn't. The same way like Wayne lives in Wayne Towers in this.
Yeah.
But like it kind of makes sense because it's like in the central hub of the city that he's trying to get to constantly. Like he doesn't have to fucking drive down the fucking over the river.
Come back from under the waterfall.
Yeah, over the river and through the woods to get out. So even though that's not what I'm used to, I enjoyed a new take on it in that way.
I thought that Colin Farrell.
Yeah, he was great.
Oh my God, the Penguin.
He was great.
So you take that character, and basically, it's just a nickname for this guy that's kind of fucked up from getting cut in the face and walks with a limp and stuff. I was surprised to see John Turturro cast as Falcone in it. Yeah, and he was creepy as fuck.
Yeah, he does a good job. But it is a weird choice. It is like Falcone is like a fat guy. Like he's like a classic. Yeah, like mafioso, like Godfather-esque, Marlon Brando, like that sort of. So, but I thought he did a great job. But it's just it's a very different visual.
I think him being, I'm going to use the word frail just because that's the first thing that compared to what a Kingpin-esque almost. Yeah, another guy. Example. I think shows how much power somebody in that position has. That they don't have to be that 400-pound, 7-foot tall guy. You can be this scrawny old dude that's still, killing people at your whim because you can get away with it.
I think in my mind, the fat mafia guy is like it works for the boss, like this because it shows indulgence, right? Like it shows wealth, you know, and poor self-control.
Yeah,
but. Who can't relate to that?
I love the world they created. I think did it rain the whole time?
I think it rained the whole time.
Rained the whole time.
Something's in the rain.
It is. I can't stand the rain. Blame it on the rain. I don't think we have ever seen a darker Gotham than we have in that. And maybe dark is not the word I'm looking for. It's realistic. Like there's
Seattle.
It's actually they shot it in Chicago. A lot,
Scotland.
And okay, I know, like the city shit. I think is Chicago.
I think a lot of it's Scotland.
Is it really?
Yeah, there's some city out there. I looked it up briefly because it did look foreign to me. Like it. I was like, man, this looks it looks ancient. Like the sculptures and stuff. We don't really have that shit here because it's like it was only like a couple hundred years ago.
Yeah, I guess you're right. That I knew they did film some of it in Chicago, but the skyline stuff may have been somewhere else. I don't know, man. It's my thing I'm scared of for this movie, and not scared. It's so long. I don't know how much repeat watch it's.
How long is it?
It's 3 hours. It's almost
like a normal movie nowadays. It's not far off. Like it's in the normal range. It used to be hour and a half to 2 hours is the normal range. 2.5 is long, and 3 hours is like unheard of, like Titanic shit. Now it's 3 hours. It's not that uncommon.
Well, I will say it flies by. I mean the way that was paced, I looked at my watch a couple times. I'm like, oh my God, it's been an hour already.
Yeah, I didn't. The length, so to speak, didn't bother me.
Hey, yo!
You can take it.
But it didn't bother me. But I do feel like on my end, being kind of somewhat unsatisfied with the story, that I expected more out of 3 hours. Not that the time bothered me, but when it was all
gotten more out of it,
I felt like I should have gotten more out of it from that amount of time invested into it. Let me see what else I liked about it. I ended up really liking the Riddler.
I did too.
So once again, spoilers. He wears a mask, which was a concern for me, and not like a cheeky mask, but like a full. You can't see me, but he does it just to achieve one goal. And as soon as he achieves the goal, the mask comes off, and he's okay with being caught. Being free versus being caught isn't really his concern. The goal is his concern, and once he's accomplished the goal, he kind of wants you to know it was him. So that ties back into the Riddler that I know, and I quite liked him. The scene with him and the Joker at the end, I couldn't handle it.
Yeah,
it was too much for me. It seemed.
Who's the Joker?
You don't see. He's you just see his silhouette behind the door.
The actor. It's the. Did you see? You guys saw Eternals, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like the younger guy that was one of the Eternals
that
went off.
It's
okay. One of the guys,
the deaf one.
He went out. No, he went off and started.
Was it the one with muscular dystrophy?
It's the one that went off and started his own sect almost, and all these people.
Yeah,
I liked him.
Apparently, that's who that actor is. With some prosthesis.
I could see him doing a good Joker.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. When I started hearing him talking, I'm like, please let that be Joaquin Phoenix, because I thought that would just be a great way, like an older Joaquin Phoenix
fit. That would have fit,
because now we know Joker. I mean, is in that world.
I feel like he would have fit in that world.
Yeah.
I don't think Joaquin Phoenix has any interest whatsoever.
No, I don't think he does.
But I wish he did. I think it would have fit.
I don't think he's a sequel type of guy.
But agreed. But the whole exchange, it just seemed like it just seemed a little goofy for a movie that is super gritty, super grounded, super. It was the first time it seemed a little like, like.
Well, it was two. I mean, crazy people talking to each other,
right? But I mean, they've established the way that even crazy works,
right?
You know, so like this seemed a little bit like, I don't know, like, what's the plan? Well, you know. Like Batman Returns, but and not. I mean, there's a small little scene, but it's just like all of a sudden Riddler didn't even seem scary anymore. He kind of seemed like he's smiling like this, and like it just it cringed. It was cringy to me. I think that movie would have been. Nothing changes about the quality of that movie, whether you loved it, hated it, or felt meh about it with that scene. It's just so they can have the fucking Joker in it, and like. It's one thing that I feel like Batman can get away from a bit is like at the end of Batman Begins, here's the card. It's like you always gotta let him know the Joker's coming. Listen, I've been a fan of this fucking franchise for 41 years. I know he's coming. You can't not have him. It's part of the sauce, right? Somebody's gonna send the meal back. Let's see what else. But I'm trying to think. But I did like the Riddler a lot, and I love that exchange with Batman in the Riddler when Riddler's behind the glass. Like he kind of like he was a little disappointed in Batman that Batman hadn't figured it all out yet, and his goal was for them to kind of be together and enjoy this moment with him locked up after Batman had figured it out. There's this huge in terms of the characters. Like I'll tell you, like I really think that you should see this movie, Joe, because it reminds me a bit of anime. The world. I feel like I know this world inside and out just from the way that they shoot it and the way that you hear information about the politics kind of going on in the background. Like the world is super duper established.
I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm just not hyped for it. I imagine this is how you feel with a lot of things in life where everybody loves it and you're just like, I mean, just as a franchise, like it's like one of the things you love the most.
Yes.
And I just completely over Batman.
Right.
Did I tell you this when I was scrolling through HBO Max the other day, just looking through stuff as action? It's 40 plus, literally 40 plus Batman titles on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with all the animated
fucking
stuff.
done with it. It's overdone. It's overrated. To me. I'm not, obviously subjective, and I'm just like, this character gets too much. I don't know.
Well, here's the reason why we've gotten so much.
It's like Wolverine, but much worse. The Wolverine for a while was like that, but never to the point of what Batman is.
Deadpool?
I don't think so.
No, it's not.
Never as like just.
And here's the reason why.
Oversaturated.
Here's the reason why Batman's so popular, because Batman
looks cool.
Batman's vulnerable, right? Batman's got to use cool gadgets to do what he needs to do. He can't fucking fly. He's not a superhero. He can't melt walls or.
I think it's more so that
lasso.
Part. It's the non superhero element of it,
and I like.
That's why I like Batman. That's why I like the
Punisher. Yeah, that's why. I don't know. People love the character, and I get it, but like, I don't know. I think there's like not that much more to him than. I think people like him because he looks cool. Honestly, I think people just like him because he looks cool and has cool gadgets, and which is fine. But I know you like him at a deeper level, Bobby, which I respect. And like, I don't think a lot of, some people do, but I think a lot of people just like Batman because they were raised with Batman. They know Batman, and Batman's cool.
So I'll tell you, I think that's why people like this movie.
I mean, there's several levels to that, right? There's the guy who remembers the 69 TV show and Super Friends and buys a t-shirt at Target and talks about Batman like he knows Batman.
Right.
And then there's this guy, right?
Right.
The guy with 150 Batman trades and...
Right.
You know.
But let me say, I think that, that's why John Wick annoys me and shit like that.
Why is that now?
because like to me, I'm like the only reason why people like him is because he can fight well and he can do shooty tricks.
Just cool shit. But like
and that doesn't mean that it's inherently bad. It just means that a guy that thinks it's average gets annoyed. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like if you, it's just like I keep coming you.
How's he doing?
Shout out to Yule. If the Yule Tide, but if you find something beautiful about this one thing, right? But this thing is kind of nuanced, and it's not necessarily palatable for everyone. I think it's hard sometimes not to look at the thing that is palatable to everyone with a little bit of disgust.
Well, I think we like it for different reasons. I never say John Wick have depth or like moves me in any way, but
Right.
it was very entertaining. You know,
So-
I never talk about him as a character or like his motivations and shit, right?
Right.
So like, it's almost they're both movies, they're fictional things, but it's almost apples and oranges because I'm not watching it for the same reason.
And I think I watch all of it for the same reason.
I think you do, and I
Yeah.
think that's why this is a C- to you, and or to whatever you said, and it's an A- for me.
Yeah,
Right,
I grade each movie to itself because they all at least two things that are comparable to it.
So I think this is more comparable to John Wick than it is to Batman Begins.
I said that. I think I said that to Kelly. I said I think you could put, Jason Statham, Vin Diesel,
I agree. I agree.
John Wick in this and tell a very similar story, without because it's such a grounded story. I thought that what's his name? The guy who played Gordon.
Yeah, the guy from The Wire.
I
know him from
is such
Westworld.
a great. I recognize
Yeah,
his,
that too.
and I
He's done a
recognize-
lot of HBO stuff.
and he does a ton of voice work. I recognize his voice.
He's great.
And that's not to say I'm not going to like this.
What
movie.
is his name? Jeffrey.
Jeffrey something. But like,
Who was the key grip?
you want to know for
but for me, like I'm, it's my fault. I'm already going to come into it biased because I don't want to see more Batman. If this was this exact same movie, but it's not Batman, I might like it more.
Right.
And sounds like it could be.
Jeffrey Wright.
Sounds like it doesn't have to be Batman. Like the story.
Yeah,
it could be any other fucking dude.
I agree. So let me continue on with my anime thing.
Yes.
So like the world's super established. How the world impacts the way the characters move is a big component to this movie. It's the characters' motivations are based off of not necessarily their personal experiences, but off of the history of the world in which they live. So they're all kind of operating like Gordon and Batman are operating off of just having taken out a major crime boss and having to get another one. And while in the process of getting another one, corruption at the highest levels are revealed to them. The knowledge of the corruption of said world is the major motivation for the Riddler. And then we have Selena, who, due to her friend being caught up in that, is sort of dragged into it. Look at the cat dragged in, you know what I'm saying? So like, a lot of it has to do with just the culture of the world. Where I end up feeling empty is on what they do here.
Man, fuck your feelings.
Yeah. What they do here is like, how you say like, not you, general you, but I say like, I don't need to see Spider-Man ever get bit by a spider again.
I don't need to see them pearls get popped.
I think I do.
I don't. That was refreshing to me that wasn't in the movie.
Because, and the reason why, and if you'd have asked me before I saw it, I would have said the same thing, but I don't connect to any character in this world. I just feel like it's people doing things. I feel like it's like Batman punching people for 3 hours. And while I enjoy a good punch, I need to feel why you are hitting him with the tenacity that you are.
Because he's a fucking psychopath.
Cool. Show me why and how.
That's why Kelly said you would say you didn't like it because it didn't give enough backstory on why people are the way they are.
Yeah.
She said that this morning.
Yeah, it's an issue for me, and I just and not in the.
I don't need that. I don't want them to spend a fucking 2 hours. No, I'm serious. I'm gonna pound on the goddamn table.
Yeah.
I don't want to see 2 hours of them setting shit up that I generically know.
So I mean,
I would rather them tell me another story.
So here we go. I don't necessarily need to see pearls popped. Show me the Wayne bit.
Which
show
Wayne
me the
bit?
Thomas Wayne bit and how that ties in, and allow me to connect to how
You talking about which Thomas one? Like when he called Falcone to
with his work with the mob, so that when Bruce gets that information, it's like, oh fuck, or it means something to me instead of just this abstract piece of dialogue that's almost undone within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that's my issue with it, is that like,
man, you watch too much fucking HBO and Showtime. Your brain's fucked up against this commoner shit we're watching out here.
I mean, it's also like when it comes to story for me, right? A lot of times I just see it like I love anime. Too much backstory. A lot of times I love me a backstory. But sometimes to me, it's like I'm being dropped in this world and this segment of these people's lives, and I'm just watching this as a cross section, right? Even in real life, like, you of course you get more connected to people over time, but if you have an interaction with some people, there's no way you're going to need to know the whole life story.
Agreed.
But they do the things they do, or they tell you something, but you'll never get the gravitas of like them watching the mom die or some shit. They tell you they're watching the mom die, but you're not there.
So
right?
I don't think I need the whole gravitas of the backstory, but I need something. Like, when people are getting ready to go on
because like if they say something, then you just have to take it as face value, right?
But if it's something that is just, it's common knowledge to people that this has happened.
What is?
Like Batman's parents getting killed.
But like I said, I don't need that.
Then what is it that?
Give me the Wayne bit. Give me something to grind, like to grab my teeth into, to have some sort of basis for motivation.
See, I thought they did a fine job explaining all of it. I didn't have any problems with the way it was told.
It felt super empty and hollow to me in that regard, where it just felt like I was watching the third level of Arkham Knight.
Oh, the video game?
Yeah. And like, that's another thing, is I also felt like I walked into the third movie without having seen the prior two. Like, there's things that these characters are doing, even relationship stuff between Jim and Batman, that I feel like doesn't mean anything. It's unearned, I guess. Like, it doesn't feel like it comes from anything. And then you're like, well, why is that important? And then it's almost like in a much more clever way than this, because it's not poorly delivered. So in a much more clever way, it's almost like they look at the movie and they're like, 2 weeks ago we took down a mob boss together. And then you get back to it and you're like, oh, that's why that means something. But I can't operate. I wasn't able to operate off of any sort of emotional value from that.
Okay.
I needed to see the act, I think. And then, to be fair, while I think a lot of the performances were high caliber performances, I didn't latch onto a lot of the characters. But I'm not sure if that's because I didn't have the kind of emotional depth to bite onto, or if it's because I just didn't buy the portrayal. Selena didn't do it for me. She was probably the closest of the ones that didn't do it for me, but she didn't do it for me. Penguin and Riddler both did it for me. I thought they were both great, and I was most concerned about Riddler.
Yeah.
Pattinson really didn't do it for me.
In or out of the suit?
What's that?
In or out of the suit?
In or out of the suit.
Okay.
To be fair, he's only Bruce Wayne. Like, it feels like 5 or 10 minutes of the whole movie, which I was actually okay with.
That's usually how Batman movies go, isn't it?
Well, no, it's the opposite a lot of the time.
Yeah, think about it. It seems that way, but think about it. With the exception of Batman, with Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight Rises, he spends a lot of time in the suit, but like
Batman Beyond, there's not a lot of
Batman
time.
Begins. He's
that's what I meant.
Yeah, I know, but he's out of the suit.
Yeah,
most of it.
Well, he didn't get into the suit to the end.
Yeah,
right, almost. Who else? Okay, who else did? Gordon. Alfred, Andy Serkis didn't really do it for me.
So I'll tell you, I was surprised by how little he was in the movie.
Me too.
Did you catch on that it sounds more like he was their bodyguard than their butler, but he says it was my job to protect them
and trained Bruce to fight.
Which is an interesting take.
I think it's right for this world. Because like for this world, it doesn't make sense for Batman to go be trained by a bunch of mystical ninjas. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. So I kind of dug that.
Does that ever make sense?
Yeah. But so that was it. I'll tell you at the other thing, the last thing that I want to comment on was there was a point at the movie where I was like, oh shit, it's getting ready to go somewhere that I didn't think it was going to go, and I'm getting ready to hop right back on the bad dick. And that was
it's pretty big from the drawing I've seen.
When he detonates all of the kind of levees or whatever and floods the city.
Right.
I was like, oh, fuck, this movie's getting ready to take a whole different turn. But then you don't really see any severe consequence for this. It just sort of like, it just obviously fucks up the town. And then it floods this like political speech thing.
So I have comments about that scene.
Okay, I do too. So go continue.
Well, a couple things about it.
Yeah.
Let me backtrack just a little bit more. I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
A couple things I didn't care for. I don't care how good your armor is. You cannot take point blank shotgun fire repeatedly.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, he did get knocked down.
It took an
again.
adrenaline. It took an
Never to keep him down.
Took an adrenaline shot.
adrenaline shot, which was cool to see.
But the scene that might be one of the most beautifully shot scenes, where the gunfire and he's fighting and all you see is the flashes of the muzzles. Come on, man. Nobody's going to take that much fire and be a human being under there. They don't make enough Kevlar. Kevlar is good for what it's good for, but it gives.
I mean, it just stops penetration.
But
it doesn't.
The worst.
But
the bruises are going to suck.
But
I mean,
like
you're still taking the
energy.
blows.
You're taking all the energy of the bullet, just spread over a larger area. People can get killed even wearing a
right. Exactly. They're at, I think it's Gotham Square Garden, which it's Madison Square Garden, which is a fucking bowl.
Right.
The building's flooding, so you're going to go in a bowl? Does that make any... Or the city's flooding.
Right.
The mayor lady gets shot. And then the next scene, I guess she might be the fucking superhero we don't know about.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't even seem to acknowledge that she got shot. And that was like, what the fuck?
And I'll tell you... shot at, though?
Like right here in the shoulder. But still, if you're just a common person, getting shot is a big fucking
I'll tell
deal.
you, I think it would have been more ballsy for them to have killed her. But when she
I honestly thought when they shot her, that was it.
Me too.
Yeah.
And when she takes it's a very like classic almost way they shot it. It's like an exact profile, which is rare. Usually it's like 3/4 or dead on.
And to be clear, the Riddler's minions, which are all guys dressed just like him with guns.
So I got an issue with that, but I want to.
Well,
that's a very Batman thing, isn't it?
It is a very Batman thing, and it's a very easy way to have bad guys without having to have a bunch of people. It's just dudes with masks on, right? So that's who shot her.
Yes, and when she gets shot, it looks like boom, like she's done for. And then like the next scene, they show her like getting, she's dragged off by Gordon, and she's getting. She's
and then they like the next scene after she gets drug away. It's like, she got shot. Why is she not?
So they find that Riddler has been having these like almost like IG live videos.
Yes.
And
the funny, they were like, I thought at Bobby, I'm like, man, it's like a drill rapper that's got 500 followers.
I thought the same thing.
Bobby's like, excuse me, sir.
I was like, man, if
Mr. Riddler, do you have a mixtape?
If he put out a record, Chris would guarantee that I would buy it.
That's essentially true.
So at any rate, I'm watching. He goes live and he has like all these followers, and there's comments like about them buying rifles and kind of joining, fighting the cause.
And here's the link to buy the mask and stuff like that.
All this stuff, right? And like then the city's flooding, and you're like, oh fuck, the city's flooding. There's this army of Riddlers now. Batman has to save the world. What is going to happen? And he ends up like fighting 7 guys in Madison Square Garden. It's like, oh, okay. And then like the I don't know, the scene with the fucking flare and then all that like that. I think the most of the movie, in spite of how I objectively view it as like, these are the issues that I have with it and why it doesn't do it for me. The Madison Square Garden sequence to the end, I don't like at all. I don't like the ending of the movie. But I mean, the story of this movie is Riddler is aware of the corruption and is trying to expose the corruption. And he does it in a highly illegal manner. And Batman trying to stop the Riddler and simultaneously becoming aware of the corruption. So like the ingredients I kind of like.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
But I just don't like. I guess it's like, I don't know. You bake a cake and you put the eggs in after the or the flour in before. You know what I mean? It's like that. It's like
all the ingredients here, but it didn't get mixed up good. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for me, for my liking. Some people just like to eat the cake batter straight. Some people prefer the cake to be baked.
I thought it was refreshing after the I guess the feelings people had about the Ben Affleck Batman for him to be such a no guns about everything. I thought that was just
I like that too.
Kind of back to I know like my wife hates that Batman uses guns in the Snyderverse.
Yeah, I get that.
So this was refreshing to see him not
I like that too.
to that.
I will say though, like Justice League for me did have a huge impact on how I see that Batman. I don't think that Batman used guns for most of his.
I don't think he did either.
Career.
I just think it's like I can't physically keep up, so I'm going to start shooting.
I think dudes. That Batman is so weathered down. Like he's trying to.
I really wish we'd have gotten something else from that.
He's trying to. Yeah, me too. He's trying to fight the best he can, and he's like, this is a Batman that drinks. This is a Batman that you know what I mean. Like this Batman's seen some shit.
Yeah. I did like that. I would say I was a little annoyed by the advertising campaign that everything was red. It was just so blatantly red. But that was the main color they used in this movie.
Red. Yes.
Everything red lights. And listen, I love when they use color as a theme in a movie.
Yeah.
Even when different cut. But it just seemed like Batman got red and it worked.
They never went into. Remember, we had heard rumors years ago. I mean, you think about it, this movie's been in production forever.
Yeah.
Remember, there was rumors that they were going to explain that the bat on his chest was maybe from the gun that killed his parents.
Yeah.
That's not really addressed at all. Which
it isn't. It is cool that it comes on and off,
magnetic.
and it's cool. I mean, his armor looks like something someone's made. It doesn't look like
everything but the cow.
Vacuum formed. See, I love the collar. Even
it didn't bother me.
I had to get I like the way it looks, and I like the there you go. He can pop it.
Bat Fonz.
I like after seeing the mask or the cowl. I do like the cowl. I really like the nose piece.
It reminds me of an old football helmet.
Well, I mean, I think it fits the aesthetic very well because it's almost like it's this found thing that he's modified and not just.
Oh, it definitely looks homemade.
We ordered 100,000 of these from China to.
It definitely looks homemade. Like it looks like he sewed it himself, and I get it. I just I guess he just needs a better designer in my head. Like, you know what I mean? It's the actual, like, I'm okay with the thought behind it. And I even feel like the bulbousness is on purpose. Like it's plated. I got that impression.
I got that too. It's like it's a protective thing, not just a form fitting, which makes a lot of sense in a real world.
For sure. I dug that as well. I just don't like the way it looks. It's just pure aesthetics. Like the thought behind it and all that, I'm 100% with. And it wasn't distracting. It wasn't like I was taken out of the movie from it. You know what I mean? I was like, man, I wish he looked cooler.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I love the suit and even the collar, which bothered me in the promo stuff. It was like
it's Batman. Bro.
It didn't bother me. The collar didn't bother me at all in the movie.
So you were talking about how long this movie has been in production. I couldn't help but to think. The very last scene was them leaving the cemetery on the bikes. And
that's where he got hurt.
He's where he's like, that was one of the first. You always forget when they're filming this shit. They just film it, as the locations are available more so than anything.
For sure.
I mean, all in all, I've said it on here before. Give me a live action Batman movie every year, and I don't give a shit.
Too.
I don't give a shit who's playing it.
I'll watch it.
I definitely was pleased with my 3 hours.
Yeah.
And my purchase, so I'm looking forward to seeing it again.
Do you recommend people see it in the theater? How busy was your theater, by the way? There was like 5 people in mine.
So we went Friday night at 6:30.
That's gonna be a little better, I would imagine.
It was, I'd say, 75% full.
Oh, okay, yeah, good.
Yeah, it did. I think 130.
It did fairly well for
isn't
COVID-esque theater attendance.
Right.
There was 5 people in my theater, so it was
rated really high.
What was interesting? Yeah, for sure.
Did you guys go to Warehouse or
no? Because it wouldn't pop up on my Fandango.
Oh, you got to go to their website.
Yeah, so I just didn't have time.
It's too much trouble.
It was.
It's exhausting.
This is mine's all set up. It's just one click.
Yeah. You went slummed at a Regal.
But you know what was interesting was like there was like 5 people in the theater, and like we got mid back, and I guess some guy also got like pretty close to that, and then he sat there for like 20 minutes, and then he was just like, "Man, fuck this," and like moved like a couple seats away from us.
Like, thank you, sir.
Which it makes sense. I mean, there's like 6 people in the theater total. One of which was like this elderly couple, like probably in their 80s. Maybe, I don't know. In my head, I was like, man, I wonder if Laura and I one day have seen the latest and greatest Batman movie was even darker and even grittier at 80 years old. It's just all black.
It's just, yeah. And there's growling, but you don't know when the growling's coming.
And lightning bolts.
They keep talking about hockey pads. While we're on this subject,
recommend people see it too.
I think it's definitely a theater experience. Of course, if you listen to this, you might just want to wait till we can do a recommend during our Nerd Weeks also. But did you happen to see the Hot Toys?
I did.
It's like it makes sense to get a DC Batman because he doesn't come with guns. It's the only character they can make.
True. I did like the bat symbol.
The signal
accessory,
for
the Hot Toys. Like they included the whole thing. It looks just like it looks fantastic.
Mezco's version goes up for pre-order tomorrow. I'm anxious to see what they do with it.
So are we good? We good here?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're good. So
all right, we're moving on. I'm going to mark it. We're at 45:15, and we'll mark it right there. So at the beginning,
I think Bobby's just getting fucking old and grumpy and doesn't know how to enjoy shit anymore.
Maybe.
It's possible.
But at the same time,
he does have 2 vapes. So
I'm watching. I'm watching. I was telling Joe, like, I was like, I don't know what's happening to me. Like, I don't feel like I give a fuck about any of this shit anymore. Sometimes, like, I'm watching the trailers, of which there was like 35 minutes of fucking trailers before this Batman movie because everybody wants to pay the money to get in front of this fucking thing. You know what I mean?
I saw, I think, 3 Marvel trailers in front of mine.
Yeah. So I saw. Anyway, I was telling Joe one of the things I saw was the fucking Doctor Strange Mouth of Madness or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was just watching it, and I was like, man,
is it the Mouth of Madness? Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, John Carpenter is in the Mouth of Madness.
I forgot. I was having my girl in my mind.
Hey, roll Tide.
So, I'm watching it, and like halfway through the trailer, I'm just like, man, I don't give a fuck about this fucking movie. Like,
and you said it's just watching people doing things, and I'm just like, that's all any media is. It's just watching people doing things. You're not
vlogs. It's just
doing yourself. It's like that's all it is.
I don't think that's why I watch media or consume media. I think I consume media.
You're looking for a feeling.
Yeah, I consume media. I'm chasing telling.
Bobby's a dude in a whorehouse looking for feelings.
A telling of yeah, maybe that's good.
But just tell me you love me, please. I'll give you $2.
I'm looking for like this human experience that speaks to something that I can relate to.
With superheroes,
but it's in the multiverse,
which I've seen many superhero movies that do just that.
Back then, maybe if you watched those now, if you haven't watched those before, you feel the same way because you changed.
Nah, I've watched some of those just recently. I still have the same feelings, man.
No, I'm saying if you didn't watch those already and you
come on, man, watch Logan now. See how you feel. You're a little bit older. Watch the black and white version. It'll sit with you.
Yeah, but like I don't know. Like I feel like I watch Winter Soldier, and there's like these themes of brotherhood and all this shit, and like I watch like I could go on and on, but then
I think you're just looking for something specific for yourself. I don't think you're looking for entertainment.
I mean, I don't think
the rest of us are.
I don't think they need to be mutually exclusive, and I think that most things that become beloved and survive the test of time and are often looked back on as great pieces of media often have those things. Winter Soldier is still considered one of the, if not the best Marvel movie.
Yeah,
but it's also speaking to something beyond just special effects. The reason why Star Wars was bigger than all of the movies of its time is because it had the special effects that were cutting edge, but it also had the story and heart of character and stuff that made you connect to the human experience, even in an extreme environment.
I think it's something you're personally seeking yourself, because I get a lot of feelings from a lot of things I watch to varying degrees. Yeah, I don't know if any piece of media, at least nowadays, have any unique feelings to explore that hasn't been explored.
See, I don't know. That's probably ultimately true, right? That nothing is ever new or unique anymore. But like in the same,
but if you're chasing something, you might be chasing something that it's like drugs. You might have been dosed enough to where like you cannot get high enough dose to get those feelings out of you anymore.
So
like, that might be what it is.
Needs to walk away for 2 years and come back.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, it's just like the fact that you were saying, like, you grade a movie versus every other movie that's ever made. It says something about how you're not experiencing unique things anymore. You're adding on to the list of things you've already experienced.
I think I just don't need to make caveats in order to give something an edge.
But like,
How is that now?
Like, I don't need to take this and be like, oh no, I'm just going to view this as a video game movie. It's shit.
Yeah.
But for a video game movie, it's good. Like, I don't need to make an excuse for something to enjoy it.
But
Either
also,
I enjoy it or I don't.
But also, like we've been saying for a while, like me and Pinkerton are looking for entertainment. Also, and you're not. Like I can often say,
no, that's not true. Let me stop you. You keep saying that, and it's not true. I'm not looking for just entertainment.
Right, but you're not entertained.
What do you mean?
Like, you're not entertained by things you're watching.
No, I am.
Anymore.
I was entertained by this. Entertainment is not enough for me.
You're not rating things based on entertainment, I guess.
Not just entertainment. Entertainment is a piece of the puzzle.
Whereas I think, because I rate them both ways, and I think you might too. Like, as just entertainment, did I enjoy how much did I enjoy those 2 hours? I fucking loved. I had a great ride.
You're saying enjoyment and entertainment are synonymous.
Yeah, for me it is.
Right, and I'm saying that entertainment is it's an ingredient of my enjoyment.
But that's why you're not enjoying things.
Right. No, not all things, just things that are just entertainment. Or that I find are heavier on the entertainment thing than they are on the emotional side or on the story side or on the character side, where they're just for the entertainment.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You're looking for more, which is but for I think media. I mean, is the title of it is entertainment. Right, so a lot of us, we're not grading things in the same way because I'm just looking for entertainment, mostly. If I get something more, that's bonus. So when I rate a movie an A, saying I enjoy the fuck out of it, and then you ask me, was a good movie good? And I can tell you, no, it's not good. It's not a good story. I enjoy the fuck out of it. It's an A, but like as a piece of media, it's a fucking C or D. I can say that in the same sentence.
Right, but once again, you're saying it as if the entertainment is not important to me, or I can't watch a movie and be bored. You know what I'm saying? And even, no matter how good the characters are and how good the story is, well, see, that's the thing. If it's a good story, it's probably going to be entertaining.
Right. Like the story. I mean, the story is.
So I'm just looking for entertainment in a different way. Like, just because it has flashing lights and sounds. Like, I have a Transformer figure in there that was without a doubt the worst transformation of a figure that I've ever had in my life. So bad, in fact, that I hit the dude up and I was like, this has survived. Do you want me to transform it back? Wow. And you know what he said? I never expected to get it back in the first place. Wow. That was his answer. Shout out to Scott. That was his answer.
That's awesome.
But like, I forget where I was going with that.
Being entertained.
So I think let me make this analogy.
Like, that you can't like, it's going to the good. So yes, that fucking Nightmare. That's where I was going with it. It has a gimmick. It has a button on his head, and if you press the button twice,
candy pop out.
Okay,
is it like a Pez?
So if you press the button twice, his eyes light up.
Okay,
a nice red. And in fact, remember Dark Side of the Moon? Megatron had that like that spark. Like the wiring was fucked up. There's a blue light, like a blue white light that's like intermittent, blinking at the same time. Entertainment, flash and fun.
Yeah.
Not good, not enough is my thing. That's not enough to make that figure good.
That's kind of a lipstick on a pig analogy. I don't know. I think me and Joe sometimes watch stuff with blinders on. You guys know what blinders are from horse racing, where they can't see to the side.
Press the wrong one.
Listen,
damn it.
It's both.
No, I know what it is.
I grew up horses.
Yeah, Laurel racetrack.
They kind of.
Laurel racetrack.
Laura had a racetrack.
Yeah,
nice. I didn't know that. I didn't know she was a horse girl when she was younger. No, not like that. But there's. Ask your daughter about horse girls. I'm sure they have them at school.
Dimitri Martin. He was like. He said, "You don't like him?"
No, it's fine.
He said
a lot.
He was like, my dad took me to this woman's house. Said she was a real cat person. You can imagine my disappointment when I found out she just liked cats.
Yeah, yeah. Saying that, I think sometimes Joe and I just watch it from an entertainment standpoint with blinders on. It's like, yeah, this. And Bobby, I don't think your mind can separate the.
Yeah. I just want flashing lights sometimes, man.
Yeah.
Just flashing lights is cool with me.
Yeah, and I it's not for me. And I know this. I know this about myself. I mean, I'm this isn't new information for me.
Yeah.
I'm very much well aware of this. I'm never going to see Expendables. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't blame you.
I'm never going to see it because I know that the DNA of that is not for me. But I often find meaning and depth in a lot of these other things, and a lot of these kind of, classic mythological stories that we kind of continue to tell ourselves. In fact, I found it in this Batman, for instance, it's the exception to the rule. It's, you know what I mean, more so than the rule itself. It's just that, like, I think that, like, watching, like, Mouth of Madness is that when I'm watching it, I'm like, man, like, this is just, it's so busy. It's just like the trailer. It's just so busy, and it's
Wanda Maximoff,
glass shattering.
What that mouth do?
And so many hands, and you know what I mean? Like
I'd love to be able to do that, man. I get so much done.
But I just didn't give a fuck about it. Whereas, like, you take Doctor Strange 1, which I don't think is great either, but the whole, like, beginning thing about, like, his surgery and all that, and, like, the this dude is, like, arrogant and all that, and then being humbled, like, immediate, like, and then, like, having to find who he is outside of what makes him good, like, that to me is like,
that sounds like your perfect movie. Basically,
that's a human experience, right? Like, I think there's a lot of us that are so, I mean, like, and I'm not putting this on you, but, like,
no, you're tired of being lonely.
Like, one of the defining things about you is
he's pointing at Chris, by the way.
At Chris, is just how prolific and skilled and game changing you have become in this diorama thing, right?
I'll take it.
So it's an element of it that defines it for you, right? Like, that defines you, right? When you take that away, you have to relearn who you are in a way, right? In a sense. And, like, that to me speaks to something. I start questioning this thing. What if something happens, like, I'm in a, God forbid, knock on wood, that I knocked on my lap, by the way, that, I get into some car wreck tomorrow, and a wire comes loose and takes my voice out. And now I have nothing. I cannot say anything. Like, my voice, talking, podcasting, videos, all that shit, even, like, being the jokester in the room of a social gathering, it's a defining thing to me. You take that away from me, I got to relearn who the fuck I am. Like, so, like, that's the shit that I take from scenes like that.
It'd be so quiet, Joe. But real quick though, on the Doctor Strange, and you touched on it just a moment ago. Literally, if you have 8 arms, is one of them always on your dick?
100%.
Okay,
I got 2 and one's always.
Same.
Okay.
I was like, I don't need
doing the 2-handed down here while you're having business meetings.
But Chris, you got your coffee first. Joe, how was your nerd week?
I watched a bunch of shit. Let's see.
That was a good discussion.
It was.
Watch Scream 5 finally. It came on someone's Plex.
Finally.
Yeah, that's good. Good enough entertainment. It follows. It's interesting watching all the Screams, and, like, knowing when they came out, right? Because they are dumb movies, entertaining but dumb for me. But they are all commentaries, I guess, specifically to horror movies, but not specifically, not even, but to, like, entertainment in general and the time that it came out. So Scream 5, it's meta, because they always talk this meta, right?
Right.
It's talking about the era of post sequels, movies that are coming out.
Okay.
Yeah. As either reboots, soft reboots. So like, I find it interesting that all of these movies in the time that they came out talks about the problem with media at the time.
Right.
It itself is like
part of the problem.
It's part of the problem. It's part of the parody.
Right.
It's a spoof on itself. It's almost like a parody movie.
Right.
But the acting is fucking great. Nev Campbell, like, all the original cast is great. The new people, I don't care about them too much, but, like, a couple of them stand out as pretty good actors. Story is wild, but, like, good enough. More Scream shit. But I just find the commentary to be interesting.
Yeah.
Solaris is a movie that came out a long time ago I never watched.
It's also the Next Man, I think.
Who's in that one?
Who is
Polaris?
Polaris? I was gonna say, like, I know Polaris is a green hair girl, but Solaris sounds like it could be a superhero name, right? George Clooney and others.
Who's the key grip?
Is he is that the one where he's on, like, the Last Man on Earth kind of deal, where he's, or is that another movie he did?
That's The Last Man on Earth. No.
That was the Will Smith joint. That shit was awful.
No, he's like a psychiatrist who went to the space station that's like people are going nuts on, and then he started going nuts too.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
It's sci-fi.
Lost Light.
Yeah. Entertaining. He's a good actor. I don't know if I enjoyed the time I spent on it. It might have been too long, but it's already a remake. It's based on a novel that was done like 50 years ago. But like thinking about it as a sci-fi novel that came out 50 years ago about going to space and space station and the consequences thereof are interesting. People were talking shit about Covenant and Prometheus on stream, so I had to go back and watch it just to make sure I'm not crazy. No, they're good.
They're good.
I still haven't seen the second one all the way through.
You'll hate it. Don't watch it.
Well, yeah, I think
I'm just.
I think you might be right.
I'm just.
I think
honest.
you might be right.
You won't like it.
And,
The first one I liked. The Prometheus.
Prometheus is great.
I mean, this one is this ties the knot between those movies and Alien. The Ridley
original
Scott movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
It pretty much tells you exactly how everything.
It doesn't sound bad.
No, I may be wrong, Bobby. You might like it, but it's a lot. It's got your guy.
I mean, you're safe to assume he doesn't like something. I think.
Yeah,
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride.
And he's good in it.
He's the shit, dude.
He's
good.
actually good.
He's not bad
no,
in
he's
anything.
not.
No.
He's not. It's
I
just
love
like
him in
he
Tropic Thunder.
has done.
What did you say?
I love him in Tropic Thunder. Bobby's favorite movie.
He's not bad in that either.
No, it's just that because he plays this goofy, like comedic roles a lot. Like you in your head, you already typecast him. So when you
Right.
see him not doing
100%,
that,
100%.
But he's good.
100%.
And these movies are good. I don't know what people. I feel like people tout Aliens as this amazing franchise. Like 1 and 2 is great. Yeah, 3 I enjoy a lot too. But like I'm like tell me you're going to shit on Prometheus and shit on Covenant. Meanwhile, how about Alien Resurrection?
What about Alien versus Predator
Alien
as a
versus
franchise?
Predator.
Oh, God.
1 and 2. Like, come on. There's what Alien, right? Aliens.
Stop.
Alien 3.
Nope,
No, I'm saying all of them,
okay.
right? Alien versus Predator and Alien versus Predator 2, right?
Yeah, and then there's Alien
Resurrection.
4.
Alien Resurrection. That was Alien Resurrection.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was 4. And,
So that's
and then there's a video game that's canon. Seriously.
well, no, yeah, that's the one about her daughter.
About her
Actually,
daughter.
that's pretty good.
And there's some
story's actually
I've listened to some novellas that are really good about that.
So, and movie wise, there's 6 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Arguably, 3 of them are good. Arguably. That's 50%. So don't fucking shit on Covenant and Prometheus like Alien's the amazing franchise that these things are ruining.
No,
That's fair.
You're right.
That's fair.
I don't know why I ran this rant. But I
I
think
totally
you should
agree
watch
with you.
Prometheus. And like,
Have you seen Prometheus?
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
seen that one.
You
You
should
haven't
watch
seen
Covenant.
Covenant.
Yeah,
Maybe you should watch.
If you enjoy Prometheus, I think you could enjoy
Yeah,
Covenant.
I like Prometheus.
I mean,
I like the engineers specifically.
And it continues to explore like intelligence, artificial intelligence.
That's part of it, right?
I like that theme.
Yeah, 100%. It's about life and
Exactly, life, creation of life. What does it mean
Correct.
to be alive?
100%.
I love that shit.
100%.
I forgot. Oh, I've been watching so much scary movies, and you know how, like, in general, all of us are like, man, these people are doing some dumb shit. But I've like come to terms with the fact that it's not unrealistic. We all do dumb shit, and we all will do dumb shit in these fucking situations.
Yep.
Right, because like as an outsider looking in, knowing that I'm watching a fucking sci-fi horror movie, versus being in the seat while like
Right. You hear a bump in the night. What do you do?
right, I'll grab my gun.
I go to bed.
But you make an effort to go find out.
Yeah, I don't just sit in bed and wait.
Right, and theoretically ready for whatever, right? But then if you come to find out that bump in the night is some mystical force that turns into a demon and chops your fucking head off, well, you weren't totally prepared.
No. And like being objective, I'm like, oh well, if the world's on fire and you have to let your wife die to like put the fire out,
Right.
Outside looking in, I'm like, let your wife die, put the fire out.
Right.
But like I've come to terms with the fact that if I'm in that hot seat, I'm like, I gotta save my wife.
It's hard, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like that's the classic kind of like save one, kill one to save a million or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
And like it used to be a much easier answer for me. And I still know what the right answer is, but I stopped blaming people for doing what I could perceive to be the wrong answer.
yeah.
Because I've just lived longer now. Shining and Doctor Sleep. So Doctor Sleep, I've revealed is never watched. Which is the sequel to The Shining.
Oh, I never watched it either.
It's on it. I think it's on Hebo.
It's on what?
HBO Max. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm like, man, okay, I'm not getting another. I'm done now.
Hebo. I don't know why.
What?
It's good.
Is it good?
Ewan McGregor's in it, and it's the lady is really good into. She was in Dune, the mom in Dune. She's in many things.
Who was the key grip?
The key grip was Scotty.
Scotty McPippin.
Scotty McPippin Jr.
And
Yeah,
Bobby Baskin.
He's got a great fucking grip.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
bitch Bobby Baskin.
Dude, speaking of Baskin, there's like, I saw a trailer for, there's going to be a show now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
talked.
don't want to watch that shit.
Yeah, because like it's too soon. Like it's like we've seen the real
Exactly.
thing.
So what's funny is I saw an article with Kate McKinnon, who plays Carol Baskin, and she said that this has been in production before any of that Netflix
No
shit.
shit.
That poor timing,
sucks.
though. That sucks. That happens.
Yeah, it is, but at the same time,
It's like,
I mean, it's people watch it.
people watch it. Well, it's on Peacock, so you know it's very important to
Cutting
them.
edge.
Yeah.
it always sucks to be the movie that is deep impact, so to speak.
Yep,
Or
yep.
Like Equilibrium.
Oh, they
Like,
came out
movies
after
that came out.
Arm
Yeah.
the Ghetto, yeah.
Or when they, because I told you my theory on that is that somebody has a good script, shops it around Hollywood, everybody passes on it, but takes the idea and hires another writer to write a version of it.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
I don't doubt it.
I think it's a good sequel. They recasted the characters that recurred, like the mom and Jack Nicholson, and they recast several characters,
Right.
Which is fine with me. But the story is interesting. It builds that world up more. But with the watch, it's interesting to watch Shining and then watch it, because like sometimes with sequels, I think you need to do that if you have the time.
There's also, for just anybody listening, there's a documentary about The Shining, the making of the film. It's called like Room 472 or whatever. Anyway, it's fucking amazing. Just to get a little bit of somebody deconstructing what went on in Stanley Kubrick's head for an hour, it's pretty fucking fascinating.
Cool. But yeah, if you like that world, I recommend Doctor Sleep. It's pretty good. Worst Roommates. I watched this on Netflix.
No boy.
I like that kind of like true crazy story type deal. Like I love Deadly Women. Show. So this is kind of in that way. It's like 4 stories about real life stories of roommates that people have experience with. It's kind of almost like a documentary.
Right, but dramatized.
Yeah, not even. It's just the people talking about experience. Like,
It's just like the real people talking about it.
Yeah,
okay.
I was watching while doing something, so I'm not sure if they had reenactment. Oh no,
Yeah.
they didn't have reenactment. They have certain scenes where it's like animated,
Oh, really?
Oh,
like
nice.
just short,
Right,
like,
right,
but
right.
it's like almost anime in an anime style. But like this one is about an old lady who just killed a lot of homeless people.
Oh, really?
And this one wears a professional squatter who like you can't kick out, and I think you would like this one. Bobby.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fair enough.
No, and then this one other one who's like a con man that goes around the world conning people until like and start getting desperate enough to want to kill people. Like it was very, very interesting. I think it's just called Worst Roommates on Netflix. I want them to do more, because some things are stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't know that if you let someone live in your house and in certain states,
In certain states.
and if they have APs, like start having mail come to your house, you cannot kick them out.
No, you got it. There's like an eviction process.
Like they can just squat and not pay anything, and you can't do anything. And there's amazing.
It's like
to me.
30 days or whatever.
No, months.
Well, whatever it is, like
Yeah.
there's a twilight to it. Like there's a process, like that you can't just put somebody out on the street that you've let live there for.
Right, but can you imagine like someone just starts living in your house and refuse to leave, and you know it's going to take months to get rid of them?
There was but I don't know, real early on in the pandemic, probably when Saturday Night Live like first got back to doing new stuff, they had a skit on there. It was about this woman who had come to stay in the Airbnb, and that's when quarantine happened, and she couldn't, she couldn't leave, and they couldn't. It was comedy, but yeah, that shit really happens.
Yeah, well, because
Squatters' rights.
it's not like they just come in and set up shop. You know,
Well,
you have to have them in.
they
Sound like a vampire.
Because otherwise, it's called trespassing and breaking and entering, and that shit actually is illegal.
No, I think it's a mail is the key.
Right.
It becomes your residence.
But I mean, like at some point, that's
I
probably
got a lot of people living in my house. I still get mail for 3 people ago.
that's probably put in some, like it's probably a good thing most of the time that like you have somebody like and then like so they piss you off and you just want to put them out on the street and it's like, yo, you told me I could stay here for 6 months, whatever. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? I get that.
Yeah, but it seems like there's no intermediary where you can like extenuating circumstances where you can bypass it. Like from this story,
violence maybe.
Yeah, but if they're not, if you agree to have a roommate, they sign a lease with you, and they just stop paying, they refuse to pay, you fucked.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you could, play,
what can you
could
do?
Play drill music at 11.
Well, there's an eviction process, and then you would sue them for the fucking but they don't have money. And then,
exactly.
Strobe lights.
But
and music.
I mean, this is good. It's short. It's only like 4 or 5 episodes.
Gotcha.
And
what's it called again?
Worst roommates.
Worst. That's easy.
It should
easy
pop
to
up.
remember.
It should pop up on
Clever.
recommended.
Okay.
Now that we're talking about it, especially.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The Arnold Classics. I wish I was there, but didn't go again this year. But maybe next year. It's a great showing. Everyone's there. I don't think Arnold knew what he was getting into when he because he always adds more events. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's much more than bodybuilding.
How involved is he in this?
He's in there. He's walking around. He has that final say in a lot of things.
Really? I
This is
figured they
his
just
show.
had his name on it.
Oh no, this is his show.
Okay.
Nice.
I don't think they're gonna have this again. But they had slap boxing on. Slap
fighting.
fighting. It's not UFC. It's SFC. It's Slap Fight Championship.
So I know a guy who used to run wrestling down in Alabama, where I'm from.
Right.
And this guy definitely fits this bill. But he promotes slap fighting now. He gets wrestlers to do it.
It's the most dangerous sport I've ever seen
Brutal,
in my life.
man. There's probably a lot of concussions.
You can
coming
think
from
of
it.
anything. Fucking was it bull riding? I'm thinking like this music. Bull riding, being a clown in the bull riding.
Yeah, rodeo clown.
Bro, like carnival people.
Yeah.
Hey, leave carnies alone.
But like it's just getting punched in the face over and over again.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
But like they had, I guess, an exhibition match with ladies. There's 2 ladies, and you see Arnold sitting there. I think his face changed. I'm like, oh, I don't know what I signed up for because it's not good watching like 2 like attractive ladies like just slap each other as hard as they can. It's hard to watch.
It's like boxing, but slapping.
no,
It's
you just sit. There's a bench.
Oh, just one slap, then another slap. Then yeah. See, when I grew up, people slap box all the time.
Oh, yeah,
but it was
that's
like,
different.
but it was like you just go outside and it is like between friends, and it's kind of like a test to see who would win in a fight. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
so
I know what you're talking about. I'm familiar. I've seen the Russian guys do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there were big name people and big people there.
Yeah.
Dude,
I've seen it.
Dude, this one match was great. You see this guy like going up, excited, slap the other dude. I think he thought it was gonna be one and done. The other guy was more or less okay. And then when the other guy's about to wind up, you saw like the fear of death as he's bracing to get hit. He got knocked out in one hit, but like he knew what was coming.
I did. It's a fantasy of mine to like take my hand like with fingers spread like across somebody's face with full.
Maybe you should
full power.
Join this.
No, I don't want
just to do it once.
Because if I get hit back, I'm gonna fight you. No, I've seen it.
Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah.
This is the one from Arnold's. That guy took it better than. See, these guys have changed they've changed it. It's more like
it's a punch. It's a palm heel
It's
strike.
a palm strike.
Yeah.
But I mean, it historically has been an actual
slap.
Yeah. So now these guys are tucking their elbow and doing a palm strike.
Slap
a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah, play with the girl, man. It's tough to watch. And speaking of Colin Farrell, we rewatched Total Recall, the new one.
It's awful.
Do you know that?
I watched it. I hated it. My wife hated it because
Well, it was fine.
I thought it was fine. I like the world. I like all the robots. I love robots and sci-fi.
I think I like the
cyberpunk.
robots designs.
Yeah, like the
Are they
whole-
like all white almost?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like that.
but like I like that world. And I thought it was cool enough that there was a lot of homage to the original, but it's not a remake. No. It's not the same story at all.
No.
But there's a lot of
Like-
homage to the original.
Yeah.
Just kind of in that world.
Yeah, and has the recall ability. You didn't like it?
No, it's just I like that one was like trash for
I
me.
didn't think it was. I don't think it's a great piece of media, but good enough sci-fi action movie, and that's it.
Chris,
Yes. Well. There are men in my house right now installing a new well system. Could have bought a pre-owned Hyundai. Nope. We're getting a new well system. Apparently.
audience score for Total Recall 47%.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
And the critic score is a 31%.
Yeah, I wouldn't have watched if I haven't seen it before and I looked it up because the audience.
Because in my head, I was like, man, I don't like these guys are talking like it's fine, but in my head, it was kind of universally hated. But that's cool.
I think if it had been called something else, it probably would have been fine. I think trying to tie it back to that hurt it more than it helped it.
Maybe. You might be right about that.
Yeah, so apparently our well system had a 15-year life. It was put in 2002. There was a problem. Called some people out. Yeah.
Wow.
So my workshop is
Good thing you have all the
unusable at the
dioramas that
well,
it's going to pay for it.
so we closed the site.
You build a diorama of a well.
I should.
You build it how it should look like. You show it to the plumbers. Like, build it like this.
Yeah. Make sure I can throw pennies in it. We closed the site on Sunday night. So, yeah, we got a lot of dioramas to build.
What happens when you run out of water?
Out of the ground?
Yeah.
I mean, if we run out of, we have 2 wells. If they both run dry, we'll have to have
I
another
assume
one
they
drilled.
go to the same water source.
I don't know how things work down there.
You think
bro.
there's 2 separate water sources under your house that you're tapping into?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never had a
I don't
well.
know.
Always
I don't-
on the city well.
Because I think you just dig a
know.
hole deep enough to where there's water under you.
They
Right?
do, but I don't know what that looks like underneath. Do you want to come over with a shovel and we'll find out?
No, I just in my head is
We'll try to get a weller on as a special guest and break it down for us.
Oh boy.
there must be
I mean, I'm sure there's a whole
So
science. to it.
was not planning
a
on
whole
spending.
science.
Was not
Stop it.
Chris, don't shake your head. You
Yeah.
brought this energy to
I
this
know
fucking
I did.
podcast.
You
I know I
created
did.
this.
5 figures I didn't plan on spending, but you gotta pay to play, so to speak.
Can you write that shit on taxes, bro? Well, I guess not this year.
Don't worry, we'll get it figured out. So yeah, we'll close the shop. Dioramas. We thank you everybody who ordered. It was a crazy amount of people ordered. So I think we're doing batches. I think we ended with 17 batches, and I just started on batch 9. So basically, I have the entire length of what I've done to do again, which is fine. Traveled for work last week. Went up to the Philadelphia area. Had some meetings. Went to the King of Prussia Mall, which is huge. And I found out some information about it. It actually used to be 2 different malls, and they connected them. And that's probably why it seems so freaking
Ridiculous.
strange and weird. And there's a Five Below and a Louis Vuitton in the same mall.
It would be like if they connect the Titans 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But that at least makes more sense than the Five Below.
Yeah. So I did something out of character. I stayed in a hotel and watched wrestling, and then afterwards I was flipping channels, and
Nothing out of the character so
Shut-
far.
Yeah, yet.
well, there was something on Showtime that caught my attention. It's called Super Pumped. It's the story of Uber, how Uber started.
Oh, really?
And it's really fucking good. I watched it's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt as the lead.
Oh,
the
okay.
guy.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah, so might need to holler at that password sometime, Bobby. 'Cause I don't,
you can talk to Laura about
or I can just stay in hotels and that'll be my hotel show. Yeah, I went to that mall. I've been playing through Cyberpunk. I found my game. My game wasn't lost. I think I told you. It was. I didn't realize that somehow I got under Kelly's profile and not my profile.
You're playing under her profile.
I don't know. I don't know how it happened, but I found my game. I was like, oh my God, it's still
I
here.
didn't even know like this. Wow, game. I didn't know. I guess PS5 is the next level shit where games are saved under different people's profiles.
Yeah, they are. I went to ZoloCon this past weekend, Saturday, up in Philly again. ZoloCon's
What kind of con is it?
what?
What kind of con is it?
It's
Collectibles?
It's collectible. Yeah, it's
Oh,
toys. Nerd shit. It's in a place I've probably talked about before. It's called the Fuge. It's a centrifuge. It was a centrifuge they did testing in shit years ago. Now it's an event center.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know that as a show, I really need to go to ZoloCon anymore because I mean it's very literally it's an hour walk around for me. I'm not gonna dig through totes for loose figures or anything. I will tell you one funny thing. One thing I'm always obviously looking forward to Simpsons figures, and mostly when I go to these these shows in the 2-3 hour radius, it's all the same dudes with the same Simpsons figures. Well, I walk up, this guy's selling comics. He's got his long boxes. I look down. There's all these milk crates with yellow cards. I'm like, ooh. And I start to go towards them. And this dude, there were probably 50 figures there carded. And this dude bought like 90% of them.
Really?
I didn't get a chance. I found one thing, which was nice to find the one. But I'm like, man, I wonder how much was there that I needed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
I don't know if I'm just getting old, but I feel that way about any con. Like I don't, other than Arnold. which I don't. Some people don't consider it a con, but
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no con I need to go to anymore. Which is
Well, I
crazy.
mean,
Like 10 years ago, I went to like 6-7 cons a year, and I'm like, I'm going to do this forever.
Yeah, so you're getting old, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
we all get there.
I
Sometimes.
just mainly go to see my friends, you know.
Right, and that's what I've come to realize. It's just like I can just see my friends outside of the con.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, we
and
should
it's
just
more
say,
comfortable that way.
We're gonna
or
be
like make your own con, like Bobby Skullface over here.
there you go. There you go. Or just say, hey, we're going to hang out at this bar on this day. Come hang out at this bar with us. You know, and the toy shows are fun and it's a good rallying point. But
It's a good rallying point for people from all over the country. That's what it is, because
that
like
is
it
good.
gives people from like Canada and England to come here.
Right. But this is just
Cody's going to stay here and not be evicted from this week. You can't throw me out now, can you?
He's gonna get mail sent here ahead of time.
I had someone send me a parcel here, Bobby.
He's
now
coming
I'm
in
here
May.
forever.
Well, like,
Right? He's coming in May.
we'll solve this then.
Yeah.
So this.
But
Put cheese
you wouldn't
in my
even know.
burger.
If he just started staying with you, you probably wouldn't care.
No,
He's such
no.
a fucking nice guest.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, I guess you live here now. It's fine.
Went to Bricks on the Dollar shop and
I'm still in awe of that.
listen, he's. It's crazy how much business that guy has.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I
pushed
tip
through
my
there.
hat to him. Like
he's out of space already in his new spot.
You said he's in outer space.
He's in outer space. Yeah, he's selling all the space Legos.
He's doing all the space.
Yeah, it's a promotion there, 20% off this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, he's got that place packed to the brim.
crazy,
There's
man.
crawling with employees. He had people everywhere sorting bricks and
It's like-
selling
it's
on the sales
inspiring.
floor. It really is. I'm really proud of
too.
Chris for putting that together. And
Amazing.
he's got his collection in the back there in his office. So
Yeah, it's awesome.
it's pretty cool stuff. So and that was it seems like I'm forgetting some. AEW. I know people love to listen about wrestling. AEW had they only have like 4 pay-per-view events a year. So Revolution was Sunday. Please note, everyone listening, that everyone in the room is completely checked out. But they put on just a complete banger of a pay-per-view from top to bottom. There was not. I mean, normally you want a couple cool down matches where the crowd can catch their breath between the big, and it's like they wore everybody out because it was just nonstop, crazy matches. Just everything was great. So happy
That's
to
Box Customs.
to continue that. AEW's doing great. AEW bought Ring of Honor, which is a Baltimore-based wrestling promotion. That's kind of second tier. Yeah, or legit. They had actually just released all their talent last year. I'll give Ring of Honor credit. They paid everybody through the pandemic. They didn't have to do that. But they said, we're not going to try to travel, get on the road, do studios, anything. But they paid everybody. They had them under contract. They basically drained their coffers to the point where they had to let all their contract talent go. And their plan was to just bring in non-contract talent for spots when they were doing shows. Well, the guy who owns AEW bought Ring of Honor now. So, which has a great history. A lot of the people that are in AEW came through Ring of Honor. I think like 60% of their roster at some point was involved with that promotion. So it's going to be cool to see how they tie all that together.
Yeah.
I think that'll do it for me.
I actually had a pretty busy nerd week. I went to this museum that's on Key Highway. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, so it's my new thing.
Bobby Museum face.
It's my new thing. I'm loving it. It's intellectually engaging me in a way that I've been
He's
needing.
found his entertainment,
He's gotten
Joe.
old. He's going to
found the
museums and not
entertainment.
done with nerd movies.
So to be fair, I'm going to museums that old people would turn their nose up to. To be fair, like I'm going to museums where people are like, "That's not art. They don't even know how to use a paintbrush."
That's
Where it's
just-
like a thing of boxing gloves hanging from the ceiling, and I'm like, "I get it."
Someone threw up in a fish tank and
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That type of shit.
Maybe that's what you need is like instead of someone telling you what something is, which is what movies are, because there's dialogue and shit. They just need to put something in front of you and let you like come up with your own story, and then you'll always be entertained.
Sometimes. Anyway, so I went there.
Headcanon.
The cool thing about this museum is that it's all done by like inmates or people with extreme mental issues.
Oh, that's why you love it.
That's probably
Yeah,
really,
you love that
really
kind of art.
interesting stuff. Then.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So it's like schizophrenic.
I saw some of those pictures you posted.
Yeah, so like we had a
I
great.
saw Optimus Primal in there, I think.
Yeah. It's like, so we went there and had a look around. Dude, there's this one, I'm going to show this picture. There's this one, I didn't post it. All right. there's this painting, and it looks like an abstract kind of woman laying down on her side. Do you see it?
Yeah, yeah.
But do you see?
Do you see? This is her changing. Do you see? So this is her changing. If you look up close, it's all made of little paintings of human people. Like it's all like little like it's like figures that make up this whole thing. But dude, one of them, I just happened to see it like out of the corner of my eye. It fucking looks like me.
Nice. What the fuck?
Is that fucking weird?
Yeah.
Like and to get look how sad he is.
I mean, he's making an upside down smile face.
It looks like he's probably been punching the nose a lot, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll buy it.
And like, what's funny? I mean, he's no more than 3 inches, so to speak, and it's on this canvas is like the size of that wall.
Yeah.
You know, and I just happened to fucking. I was like, what the fuck? I wonder if we're all in it.
Oh, dude.
So I went there, had a great time. The truth of the matter is, we went to go to another one. I'll talk about that here for a second. We wanted to go to the Walters Art Gallery, right, in Baltimore. So like, Joe, you tell me what you think. You're reading. You're going to go to a place. You're going to go to. It doesn't matter what, a store, whatever. Mm-hmm. And you go to their website, and it says for the schedules, because you want to know what time it opens, so you can be there at an appropriate time. Monday and Tuesday, closed.
Okay.
Wednesday through Saturday, open from 10 to 6. Sunday, 12 to 4.
Okay.
Have you stopped reading at this point?
Yeah.
Me too.
All 7 days.
Me too. Shouldn't have, because underneath that was Thursday, 2 to 6.
What the fuck?
That's what I said. So we went down there to go to that, and I was like, why the fuck is it not open? And then I looked at the website, and I was like,
wild ass.
it's a fucking wild ass way
just
to
list
post
every
that.
single day.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's not great.
Correct. So that's just a little annoying thing.
That is annoying.
Robert D put my face on Vladimir Putin and said it's Vladimir Putin.
That looks like
Looks like
those computer generated people. That looks like a real person.
It also kind of looks like Toby Flenderson from The Office when he was old.
So finished the season finale of both Euphoria and Righteous Gemstones. Both fucking fantastic. Highly recommend both. Some people have started watching Euphoria based on this show, and everybody like it's fantastic. It's turned up, but it's fantastic. I watched the Von Dutch documentary series. It's on Hulu. It's a 3-part. I haven't watched the 3rd part. I'm halfway through the 3rd part. I never wore Von Dutch. I never had any of the hats.
I knew about Von Dutch long before anything fashion, before Ashton Kutcher started wearing hats.
Right. So I never had any of the hats. I never got into it. But the story about it is pretty interesting. Without giving too much of it away, and I haven't finished it myself, it involves drugs and mayhem and murder and cartels and a whole bunch of other things. It's pretty fascinating, very LA, and it's sort of bits. And it's one of those things where like there's like 7 people that pretty much are responsible for Von Dutch becoming a thing. And if you talk to any of the 7, they're responsible for it 100%.
Oh, so it's like the guys who created Masters of the Universe. They all did it all.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I watched the first 2 parts of Kanye's Genius documentary now, because I had watched the first part before, and now I watched the second part. The 3rd part is available. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet. It's good. I mean, it's amazing. It's I'm a little bit stressed about the 3rd part, because like the 3rd part seems like it has to pack an awful lot of information into the 3rd part, where I almost wish there was a 3rd and 4th part. Like, because
for once it's like not too.
Yeah, it's like the opposite.
It's too short and not too long.
Because none of the crazy has happened yet.
Oh wow!
And we only got 1 episode left for all that crazy.
Maybe it's a cliffhanger. Joe'd love it.
That's a lot of crazy to pack into 1 hour.
Maybe
they just wave it off. It's like it's all crazy now. Don't worry about it. It's too much crazy to fucking list.
So I watched another show I tried to called The Flight Attendant.
I'm familiar with what it is. I've never seen it.
It's on HBO. I couldn't get into it. It was a cool little premise, but just the way it's done, I couldn't get into it. It's a flight attendant. She goes all around the world, meets a dude. They get super fucked up, go back to the hotel room. She wakes up in the morning and his throat is slit in the bed, and they're in Bangkok, and now she's trying to get out of there.
Oh, I didn't realize that's what it was about. Does this have the girl from Big Bang Theory in it? Bailey Cuoco or whatever her name is?
So Jonah Stoutenborough is the key girl.
Okay. Jonah's done pretty good work historically.
Not as much as Scotty.
Not as much as Scotty, true. This other thing I was gonna bring up, Laura and I are probably gonna talk about the Ukraine thing on Wine and Cheese this month a bit, but have you heard about this interesting story about the sunflower seeds in the Ukraine?
No.
Okay, so the sunflower seeds, or a bag of sunflower seeds, has become like a symbol for the Ukraine. A lot of the civilians are like carrying them around and holding them up in the air. And what this comes from is this old woman, this old Ukrainian woman, approached, like silver hair bit, and it's cold as fuck over there. I feel like all forever. So she's like, full length coat, the whole bit, like walks up and hands this Russian soldier a bag of sunflower seeds. And, and this Russian soldier says, all right, what's that then? And if he was from UK. And she says, put them in your pocket so that when you die, something beautiful will come from you.
Oh, wow.
Fucking tough.
Pretty
it's
gangster.
Fucking hard, bro.
Pretty gangster. So, and I have complicated thoughts on all of it. I'm not going to get into it here. It's not the right place for it. I'm mindful of whenever. I'm always put on high alert personally whenever I feel like the entire world is telling me that something's super simple. Mm-hmm. So, I have complicated thoughts on it. We'll get into it on Wine and Cheese. For the most part, I wish the best, obviously, for the Ukraine. But like some of that shit, man, like it's like when I've dug a little bit into it, I'm like, fuck, man, like this shit has been brewing for so long, and so many players around the world that have stacked chips here and there, and now motherfuckers are asking for receipts, and now it's getting ugly.
That's politics, right?
Yep.
It's never just the one guy you're seeing. It's everything that's built up until that point.
Yep. So that was that. I wanted to say, you know what? Not that I'm a master of the English language, but like I do all right. I do all right for the most part. With the amount of talking that I do all right for the most part. And if I have the ability to write, I'm actually a pretty good writer. Like if I'm writing out a thought where I can really proofread it and everything else, it's a strength. If I had any sort of academic strength, my writing would have been my strength. Affect and effect still fuck me up.
Really?
Yeah. Fuck me up big time. Where like I say it, I'll correct it, I'll correct my correction, and then I'll just find some synonym for the word I'm fucking looking for. Just want to put that out there. The last thing that I have is another.
You got to use the your and your, right?
No, that I'm good with. Two, there. All that shit I'm easy with. Affect and effect. Because one's a noun and one's a verb. Is basically what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, it fucks me up. That being said, this one last little family story. So, my daughter, all my children.
Great show.
I was going to say,
but for generations, it's been
there's Macedonian blood in them. There's Russian blood in them. There's native.
That's why they're always in a hurry.
There's native Argentinian blood in them. There's also German and Italian blood.
Well, the German and the Argentinian, let's be honest, probably.
Yeah. So to be fair, that is true. However, there is native.
I know. I'm just saying. That's funny.
But you're right. Same for Italians too, to some extent. But and there's other stuff as well. But we're just going to focus on those for the minute. Jaina has a light mustache. And she bleaches it. That's how she handles it at this age.
I know the vibes in my house. Yep.
Okay. So it's just part of it, right? Mm-hmm. So she asked me a question. Oh, no, I jokingly said to her, Happy Women's Month. I think I got her a glass of orange juice or something, and I was like, Happy Women's Month. And she started laughing, and she was like, Is there any Men's Month? And I was like, No. And I was like, I think there's Men's Health Month. It's in November.
November is Prostate Awareness Month.
And I was like, and that's why they can say like Movember. You like don't shave in November, so you grow your mustache out for appreciation. And Selena said, "That's what you should do." To Jaina, don't mess with your mustache during November. And then Selena said, "Just let it grow, let it grow."
Did she really?
Don't hold it back anymore.
Oh my gosh!
That's rough, bro. That's ruthless. Holy shit!
You know she's cursed herself, right?
Dude, it was so fucking funny. And
man.
actually, so when she said that, I pulled my phone out, and Jaina was like, "Do not put that in the notes for this week's show."
Sorry, Jaina.
Yeah, 100%.
Hopefully you never listen to episode. I don't know where we're at.
341.
We don't say that anymore. I think
I know,
right?
we should.
We used to like announce the episode.
350's coming soon.
Yeah, 350.
350.
When we do 365 or 360, maybe we have to record a circular table.
Oh,
Dude, this is one episode a day for a year.
Yeah.
Didn't fucking Ricky just
finished all of them.
Oh, shout out
He's
to
listened to
Ricky.
more narration I have.
And then went back and listened to some more for something that you asked him for. He like went back to. I was like, dude, going back is crazy. So a couple notes, nothing too crazy. Disney Plus is adding a 6-pack abs. You know what I mean? I mean ads. And they're having a lesser charge subscription service that has ads, like not unlike what Hulu is.
It's exactly what it is. It's the Hulu model.
Look, so we like circle all the way back around to cable again.
Yeah, exactly.
I really want to sit down and reevaluate how much money we're spending on streaming because I think it's going to be offensive. But the fact that we
But
have
what if you're too
cable
lazy
also.
to carpool?
I guess that's
really. It's like a pyramid scheme. Look, you find two friends, and they find two friends.
Well, listen, we need it.
And each person get one fucking service. You all have all the services.
We should probably do a team up on this.
Do you know 4 people that also enjoy streaming?
Exactly. That's what it is.
So yeah, I just found that interesting. I don't know if that's them wanting more money or if Disney Plus isn't performing currently as they would prefer. That's what I'm. That's a
good question.
Or are they going to raise the price on the premium and keep the ad supported one?
That too.
Yeah.
Speaking of the same sort of thing, the Netflix stuff, Heroes are all going to Disney Plus.
Yes.
That has been announced. So there's that. If people were concerned or whatever.
Is this the notes segment of the show?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I thought I mentioned it.
I figured.
I think I said a couple notes. Method acting, the guy from
Method Man acting,
dude, that's happened. He's actually more of an actor now than he is. Yeah. So the Boys star Anthony Starr, who is of Homelander, who's the asshole, is reported by the Daily Mail. The actor admitted to assaulting another gentleman who was a chef while working with director Guy Ritchie in Spain. Starr has been handed a 12-month suspended prison sentence and was ordered to pay about $8,000 in compensation. The detainee's state of drunkenness was taken into account. The sentence was the result of an agreement between the state prosecution service and the man who was subsequently convicted. Starr's suspended sentence was issued on the grounds that he doesn't commit another crime in the next 2 years and pays the compensation. The actor was arrested on scene of the crime and spent 2 nights in jail. It's claimed that he was highly intoxicated, stirring up trouble in an unnamed Spanish bar. When asked to calm down, the actor lashed out and tried to push the 21-year-old out of the venue before punching him in both the jaw and eye.
At least he didn't burn him with laser beams. Jeez.
When asked about the incident, the chef said that Starr punched him before hitting him with a glass and also alleged that the actor yelled, "You don't know who you've messed with. You don't know who I am and what you've done. You've committed the mistake of your life and I'm going to look for you. I want to kill you."
Oh, God.
So, et cetera, et cetera.
That's great.
Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, of all people.
And obviously, nothing excuses acting like an asshole.
No,
but let me ask you, would you take a punch in your mouth for $8,000?
Oh yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I would too.
for sure. $8,000 is a lot of money, bro.
Not that he should have done that, obviously.
No.
But yeah. So thoughts and prayers. And then, what do you think about? What was that?
What's that?
Let me ask you guys a couple of questions here. What do you think?
What do you think about airline food?
What do you think about AMC charging more for the Batman than other films?
That's fine.
Is it?
Wait,
It is to me.
What? Tell me about this.
So 3 movies came out on Friday. The Batman, and 2 movies that people won't see.
I have no idea what they are.
Uncharted, maybe.
Oh, with
Spider-Man, and then
That's a fun romp.
one other movie.
Just play the game.
And the Batman was $1.50 more expensive per ticket at AMC theaters.
Wait, that's it? I thought it was like $5. Shut the fuck up. It's $1.50.
Well, it's supply and demand.
It's supply and demand,
and at the end of the day, all prices, including tickets,
I do think it's
are that.
I do like. So apparently, this is a common practice in other parts of the world, but it is definitely unique to America.
I mean, when you go to a venue to see a show, are they all the same price?
So here, so that's
No,
so that's
like
Right, that's what I'm
Broadway
saying.
shows,
Right,
no.
depends on who
Right.
the
Depends
on what's in
artist
it.
is, right?
correct. And also, here's the thing. Now, let me ask you this: would you be okay if certain seats in the theater were more expensive?
Yes.
See, I would be.
I grew up with that. I'm so confused when I came to America when there's no assigned seats.
No, not assigned seats.
But like that sweet spot in the middle?
Yeah,
is
like
an
the
extra.
like the middle seat. Was,
No. I'm sorry, not assigned seat as in like you get assigned a seat. As like there's a chart you point out. It's
Right.
like an airplane. You buy the seat and all the seats are different price. You can choose which seats to buy.
Oh,
And
like
if
an airplane. That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
and if you're late, then like you only get the shitty seats left to buy.
so like I'm actually
I mean, it's just like stadium seating, right? Don't you pay for different prices on the stadium?
yeah. So I was going to say I'm more okay with that than I am with them picking and choosing what movies are going to be more expensive.
And we
okay
don't know
with
what
both.
the back end of that looks like. It could
Sure.
have been a million different things. It could have been.
I mean,
that-
I'm going to say the back end looks like COVID-19 is what I'm
Right.
going to say.
Well, no, what I'm saying
And
is.
I think I just don't care because I'm not going to go to the theater anyway. It's like charter whatever you want.
The studio there may be some shenanigans with how much they're charging to show it, and other theaters just ate the money and they said, "Fuck you, we're going to take our $1.50 off."
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
just it is.
Oh, the other thing is, Bobby, I probably wouldn't even fucking notice because I'm just going to click some buttons and buy tickets. So
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
that's true too.
I'm not even going to fucking look.
But there's
So
also like a privilege thing,
And I'm gonna-
we
and I'm-
have that because we have money.
But I'm also going to roll my eyes regardless. See, that's the other thing. It's like,
what are you going to not go see it?
$1.50. If it was $20 for both tickets, or if it was $50 for both tickets, at the end of it, I'm going to be like, "Oh, fucking movie theater's out of control."
Yeah.
Like they always say, like the ability to go to like a restaurant and order without looking at the prices, man. It's
Well, yeah. I mean,
one of those things.
at the same time, if you go to Popeyes, not everything's the same price.
Right. Like
I use Popeyes because it's the closest restaurant here. I think not really. It's not a
we
restaurant.
have that one restaurant I've never been to because Bobby says it's not good.
Which one?
That bar and grill place, the only restaurant we have. In town.
Across the street.
Yeah.
yeah. It's all right. All right, so we got tons of questions
I'm sure they have some
because
Old Bay French fries.
because the week before we only had one.
because we fucking recorded Monday morning last week.
Bloody feast or famine. Speaking of restaurants, you know what I mean. Joe S. He says NRR. Hey NRR crew. Just as an FYI, some of the audio that Blaster sent y'all didn't recognize was from Impractical Jokers. I actually a lot of people have hit me up.
I didn't. I watched that show religiously and I didn't recognize it.
Such as the Scoopsy potatoes.
I've gotten to actually hate practical jokes.
All right.
Can't stand that shit.
That show's pretty good though. It's pretty funny. So here's a question: what do you do when you think you're done collecting? I'm probably 98% done with my Transformers collection, and probably about 90% done with my other collections. My secondary collection is a basic representation of a line, world, etc. Such as I enjoyed the Masters of the Universe, but just wanted a representation, so I got a few figures from that line. I see things winding down for me. When you get to that point, either what have you done, or do you see yourself doing? Do you need something to scratch that collecting itch?
You just get a tertiary and a quaternary or whatever. Like what's what Bobby does. Every time Bobby's like, I'm about to end this line, he starts a new line.
So I feel much in the same boat as him currently. I feel like I'm all but, I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm just kind of waiting for some of the things that I've pre-ordered to come out, and I'll keep an eye open if other things pop up that I'm interested in.
Like Iron Studios. So you starting Iron Studios collection now?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but yeah.
I mean, like not busting your balls, but you've been saying, like, we all been saying all things we say for years. You've been saying you're almost done with things for years.
Yeah, but like, so for instance, I've been saying I'm almost done with Marvel Legends for years, right?
But he's talking about collection in general.
I know, but I'm saying that's an example. Like when he was talking about his Transformer collection being 98% done or whatever, that's where I would put my Marvel Legends collection. It's like, it's so fucking close.
Yeah.
You know, we're like, I'll probably, like, I think last year I picked up 3 or 4. You know, this year I might pick up 3 or 4. And then once those boxes are checked, like, I'm done. And I'm not the big update guy. Like, there's been updates to all sorts of those characters, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm fine.
But I was reading the question as when you're done collecting altogether. Like,
so I think for me it's a two prong. One, I'm talking about when one collection is done, and then 2 when it's all done.
Well, so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I don't think, like, I can't say I hardly buy stuff, but like, my collection is very different now, where I just buy pieces in here. But like, I think all of us are, and even you being fluid, Chris, you buy stuff and you sell stuff. None of us are done collecting, like, ever.
No, and that's my question.
Not ever.
Like, Joe, if you're done with the chase, right, of finding everything you want, I'd say from, just get that display the way it needs to be.
Right.
Focus time and energy on. And Joe, I don't know what your situation is in that standpoint, but learn how to build dioramas.
Or just pay Chris to make you some.
Well, there's options out there, Joe. Not always the first one, but just. Think about the space.
Curation.
Exactly. Think about the space that it's in, how it looked. Do you like the way they look? Do you like walking in your collection room and sitting and looking at your collection?
Yeah.
If not, move some stuff around. See what works. Look at some different furniture and lighting. And
a lot of times it's like what do they say? Like budget real estate. When like they talk about, like, with women will like take all the furniture, not all women obviously, but some women will like take all the furniture out of the room, repaint the room, and then put the furniture back in a different location. Yeah, it's like just to engage with the area. I think there's a lot of that kind of goes into at least my collecting. Like is some of the times, like, half the fun for me is like taking it all off the shelf and putting it all back in a different way.
Playing with your toys.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, in a manner of speaking. Or statues, playing with my statues.
That's weird.
But it's also the case,
I'm just going to play with my statues for a while. It's just like, big green army man.
I mean, yeah, army man. That
was a good question.
We didn't have articulation with figures when we were kids.
Shout out to Joe. He's been on the Simpsons hunt for me lately.
But yeah, shout out to Joe. But I think the curation's a big thing. I also think that, like, for me, there's other stuff too that, like, furniture was like something else for me that, like, was just like the seating arrangements and stuff was like just as much a part of it for me. I don't know. I think there's a lot of stuff outside of the actual property that goes into collecting, and that people don't always give the sort of time and energy to, that I think is, and now I don't know if he has or hasn't, but is worth looking at. All right, Abraham writes in, MILF update. Yes. Hello, Rangers. It's Abraham again, and I come with news. Who knows if there'll be a question? I'm just freestyling, kind of. Bobby has been spoiled. I told him personally this, but the girl from last time is now my girlfriend, and yes, I give her what she wants, so to speak. Nice. Also, she ain't a MILF and label to me no more. It's just so you remember. I know I respect her now. I feel like I'm misreading this somehow. So I guess I do have a question for you, men. You are all taken and presume who you are with now is who you'll remain with. And I think it is a particularly interesting question for Bobby, as Laura was allegedly just going to be a summer girlfriend. So I grew up with my friends, and while we all cared about each other, our love currency was insults, and I've grown comfortable with that. It is comfy not being the shit. Now that I came to this new job and have given a new social circle in my foreground, being my girlfriend and a gym buddy, they have been nothing but loving, and I kind of don't know how to digest it. I get compliments, and I get funny about it. I don't exactly know how to reciprocate. Not to say I lived in toxicity prior. That would be inaccurate. My guys from those times are legit, still relevant, and gave me a tough skin. I think that what I'm trying to ask specifically in context of my relationship, how do the men in your relationship at the start show your affection? And how has that grown considering where you are now?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. Anybody want to go first?
You got to be vulnerable, man. I understand building up tough walls, but in those quiet times, especially with your girl, you're going to have to be vulnerable. And I know it's a hard thing to do, especially like if you've done nothing but busted balls as a loving reaction. I suppose I don't know that your girlfriend's going to necessarily take to that the way that your friends do.
I don't know how to answer. I don't have too many experience.
Do you not show affection to Krista in any way, shape, or form?
No, but she's just a boss, the way dudes do. Like
she that's how she.
That's how, yeah. We fucking talk shit about each other.
Yeah,
I mean, Kelly and I do plenty of that too.
Same.
Don't get me wrong.
But there's also those affectionate moments,
right?
Because it sounds like that from hearing it, that like that's not.
It's more one-sided.
Yeah, it's more just
the
positivity kind of thing.
I would mainly keep those disses and insults away from her while you're giving her what she wants, unless that's what she's into. So
I'll say that
I've never been in a healthy relationship where it's just fucking loving.
Yeah, where it's just loving. Yeah, I will say
know how to handle it.
I do try to like be honest, like like if I'm feeling a way, like and it's a positive moment, like I try to voice that, like just because sometimes I think that you can live in your head and then people can think, you can live in your head and you can think that you're expressing your warmth to someone.
Yeah.
But if you haven't, what they might be receiving may actually be quite different from that.
And you gotta learn what each person's quote unquote love language is. Not everyone express themselves the same way, and not everyone receives the same way. So like for some people in relationship, I've had conversation with some other acquaintances that like they feel not loved, so to speak, because their significant other aren't clingy. And that's how they like to receive affection.
That's me.
But when I talk to the other person, because we're mutual friends, it's like, oh no, I do things for them all the time. I cook and
That's Laura. Same thing.
Interesting. So they're like, I thought I feel affection. I'm like, you guys need to communicate how you need to receive and give.
So Laura and I have talked to each other about it. Like, we're very open about that kind of shit. But like, yeah, mine, like I'm a like tell you, like I love you. I think you look beautiful. I'll
hugs, and
like I'm all over your body when I get a chance to. Like I'm that way, right?
Right.
And she's like, like here's your lunch, and I made it for you, and I. To take to work, and I put your croutons in a special bag so they don't get into the lettuce bag and get a little soggy from the, like, those are all things that she's doing to express hers. And I actually have a hard time giving her the love that she needs because she would like me to just, vacuum once in a while,
right.
And she has a hard time giving me the love where I would like her to just give me a hug some fucking time and tell her that she loves me,
Right. So, you guys got to talk about that.
Yeah. And I think our guy here needs to maybe just ask, like, hey, I'm new to this.
Yeah.
Tell me what what you need out of me.
So I'll say that you actually came up in a conversation that may have been a groundbreaking moment.
He's talking to Chris, by the way.
Yes, for Laura and I.
Oh God, I hate to see how this works.
The Devil's Threesome. Have you ever heard of it? I'm kidding. So like, so
is that where we hold hands?
Yes.
Okay. Who swap same room?
Yeah.
Heard of it?
So we got taxes, right? Everybody's going through the taxes shit, and like, for Laura, it's like it's a stressor. Like she's got to account for everything, and she's got to get all the books straight and all that shit. And it's a lot. It's not that it's a ton of money, but it's a lot of money from different places, right? Like I got money coming in from Patreon. I got money coming in from DMH. I got money coming in from TuneCore. I got money coming, like little things that you wouldn't think of. Teespring.
Yeah.
YouTube. Plus my career and all that, and plus the amount of like the charitable donations. Like it's just a lot to keep track of, right? And for her, it's stressful because she doesn't want it to fuck us, because we're like, at a point where they could ask, take a lot of money from us.
Yeah.
So she's trying, but we're also extremely, not necessarily because we're just good people, but more so because we're just such used to having bad luck people that like we want to account for everything. We don't really smudge anything. We're pretty straight up, but we want to make sure that we're accounting for all the positives too. Like,
sure. Take advantage of the program on both sides.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So
absolutely.
So she's, probably since November of last year, like kind of been like, harping on this, like, and it becomes tainted. It becomes tainted with this negative energy of like the stuff that I'm doing. Where like sometimes I'm looking at like the shit that I'm doing. I'm like, well, man, should I even fucking continue with this shit? If it's more of it's intended to alleviate stress from my family, not to, you know, and then, you know, coming back actually from that museum, you know, I was just sitting there and I was just thinking about shit, and she was like, "What do you think about?" And I was like, honestly, I'm thinking about like how successful Chris has been with these dioramas, and I was like, and like, I expressed to her, I was like, and I want to be clear. Like, I find it inspiring. Like I'm not hating. Like I'm applauding. And I was like, but sometimes I think back and I'm like, man, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not positioning myself in a way to perhaps take advantage? And I don't mean that in a bad sense, but take advantage of my platforms to make it more frugal for me. And I just let it sit and ride. And then, you know, she tried to big me up, like, "Oh, but you're doing your best." And I was like, look, I'm not asking for that. Like, that's not where I'm coming from. I'm just like,
but Bob, she's trying to give you what you want, though.
right. But I'm like, what am I doing wrong that he's making $1 out of 15 cents and I'm making 35 cents out of 15 cents? That's, I think, what I was looking at. Anyway, fast forward a couple of days later, she comes home from work. We get to talking, and she was like, look, she was like, that shit's been haunting her.
Oh, no.
And she was like, I think that I say these, you know, I've been harping on the stress of it, and it puts you in a place where you're more concerned about, you know, finances, whatever the case may be. And maybe I'm not on my end saying that, like, I appreciate what you're doing. And I think that the fact that you've been able to take your personality and turn it into this thing is impressive. And, but it was like a nice thing, a moment that wouldn't have happened had it not been Crashbox customizing my relationship.
A new service we offer.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all I got for that. Let's see what else. Paul C says, in my quest to get over my grief last week, I've eaten all the carbs in my house. Though definitely not healthy, I gave myself a week and I'm feeling better. Now we go back to watching the diet. That got me thinking about it, though. What are your best gas station snacks? You guys don't need to come up with a consensus or anything, but what are your favorite things to get from the gas station when you're feeling peckish? I got a fucking thesaurus fucking around with this dude. Additionally, what are your road trip must-haves when it comes to snacks and or drinks?
Man, I did this week.
Right.
I did some gas station eating. Anything with the word Reese's on it, I'm good with. I normally like a salty and a sweet, so like I got
trail mix with M&Ms.
I got some
raisins,
some like kettle cooked chips. Those are so good. I found some that they still use lard.
That's why it's good.
I know.
Lard is amazing.
If you ever look at it, they're in like a brown bag. I don't remember the name of it, but
almost like a paper bag.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, it almost takes you off a little bit when you take that first bite because that lard hits so that lard, Bobby, that lard hit different.
Them potato chips bring all the boys to the lard.
They do. Oh man, depending on time of day, like Wawa's my jam on the road.
You've got Wawa's or Sheetz or Highs, you get to go. Royal Farms.
Wawa's got these warm pretzels up by the register that are filled with cream cheese. They change your life.
Really?
Oh, they're so good.
I've never partook, but I would try.
Yeah, and probably a Mountain Dew with some flavor. I love me some Mountain Dew.
But like it's amazing with the Highs.
Oh, sorry, beef jerky.
Yeah, Highs is right there. So like any like gas station with reputable hot foods, like it's not even snacks at that point, I guess. But Highs is fucking amazing wedges, potato wedges, and of course fried chicken like Royal Farms and
Highs is pretty good fried chicken.
Yeah,
it doesn't get the Royal Farms claim, but
I think Royal Farms is a bit better. But like the wedges are all on point and Highs. But they also have a ice cream fountain where you can get shakes and shit.
Oh really? I haven't checked it out. I'm always at the pumps, you know what I mean, like so to speak. I'm always at the, like I rarely ever go into
go
this.
Inside.
Rarely.
Because I go for the food.
Yeah,
I'm excited. Wawa's have great breakfast sandwiches. I don't know. I love fucking gas station food when I was growing up.
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited to go to a Buc-ee's someday. Have you heard about Buc-ee's?
Oh yeah. We have in Texas. We have Buc-ee. We have Buc-ee. She has a Buc-ee hat. Okay. Love Buc-ee's.
Yeah, Buc-ee's.
They have great snacks. Great snacks.
It's a travel plaza, I guess.
Okay.
It's got like 21 lanes of pumps.
But it's like a Walmart almost
really?
inside. And they got all this, like they do all their branded stuff. They have a beaver that's their...
Well, I'm sorry?
Yeah, Bucky's Beaver. I think we may be able to go to one when we go to Georgia.
They have great nuts. And
they have a hot nut bar.
All kinds of cracker snacks, so to speak.
What does everybody else
It's in
eat?
Texas, bro. Cracker snacks, bro.
What does everybody else eat?
I like a tasty cake, coffee cake junior. That's like
Cake, coffee cake, June.
That's
my
very specific.
That's my go-to. That's my numero uno.
Bear Claw.
I like
Nutty Buddy, bro.
I'll get a 6-pack powdered donuts. Mm-hmm. That's another one of my go-tos.
I like those
sometimes it
coconut
makes me-
crunch donuts.
Yeah,
Same pack.
I know what you're talking about, but I'm a traditional 6-pack.
You never get that fucking cough when you're breathing the goddamn powder sugar? I like the taste of powder sugar, but like oftentimes I'm just...
have to hold
because
your
I'm
breath.
inhale my
So-
food and just like...
I like it when... So I like it... So I
You
like...
just gave me the monkey puppet meme.
So...
You just turned to look at me and looked away.
So I like... my favorite are the tasty cake ones. And the dough is so moist that the powder sugar doesn't
just
really
sticks up.
blow. Yeah, it stays stuck
It's like
on.
a gooey
Yeah.
layer. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then usually for chips, my chips are usually Doritos, and it's usually spicy nacho.
Go chips, man. That's not potatoes.
So I didn't say potato chips.
I know.
Tortilla.
They're like...
Spicy nachos is usually my go-to. Ranch is my follow-up, and then the third thing that is another standard for me that usually gets bought is the peanut butter crackers, like the little circle, the toasty peanut butter
the
crackers.
orange square ones.
So not them.
Yeah,
I like
round
them.
one, the round ones are better.
The round ones are my shit.
My kids call those orange ones Pawpaw crackers because my dad keeps them things on deck.
It's those and
always has
fucking
them.
Bother's fucking originals is what all people have in their pockets at all times.
That's some candy for you.
Like chips wise, I like a lot of times if I'm driving, I get the Pringles because it's like
very easy to
portable.
eat. Yeah.
Even though they're also not like real chips, they're like fucking potato composites.
It's potato dust. It's like MDF of chips.
Yeah, it is exactly. It's MDF of chips.
So the next one is from Fighting Rabbit.
Oh.
Discovering collecting within your collecting. What's a good spell table? I've been collecting Transformers for a couple years now, and I've recently discovered that I've taken a liking to a lot of the emergency vehicle type of characters. So my question is, have you guys stumbled upon a theme with your collecting that you come across? Thanks in advance. Keep up the good work.
Hoarding. That's my theme.
Yes, and selling.
Yeah. Not as much. I need to lean more on the selling than lately.
Yeah, you do go balls to the wall with some of like when I look at what you did with your G.I. Joe and you bought multiples of every one, and you are a manic sometimes.
I am manic. I am very manic. I'm glad I have an outlet for it, so I'm not running around the woods with trying to poke people's eyes out or something.
Screaming fentanyl at the top of your lungs.
Can I lick your fentanyl pad?
I can see him doing that.
I think
what is it called, overalls?
Yeah.
No shirt underneath.
No
though.
shirt.
No shirt.
Just
shirt.
Carhartt bibs and no shirt.
Or a pair of coveralls with no shoes.
Dude.
Oh God, no, not me. You're gonna find me outside with no shoes on. I'm not that person.
So I'm not into
You are if you sold them for fentanyl.
That's true. But I have lots of shoes though. So
nowadays, I'm completely out of fashion, not into fashion. Don't really care what I wear. But I remember at a point in life where I kind of care when as you're going through puberty and stuff. You're like,
sure.
Oh, you kind of want to fit in. I remember very specifically when I was maybe middle school, I had overalls. I remember taking one strap off, and I felt weird. I'm like, I feel like I should do this, but I feel like I shouldn't be doing this. Y'all had that feeling?
I remember that exactly.
Like,
or wearing suspenders, but not wearing suspenders.
Yeah,
it's
I never wore suspenders, but I
wore them down.
I never did that.
How you carried your backpack, one strap.
One strap. Yeah, that's why. That's why an entire generation of kids have bad posture from carrying 40 fucking pounds. My kid's backpack sometimes. I swear to God, it feels like it's 30 pounds in there for legit to go back and forth to school. I had to tell Charlie, I said, take some of these books and put them in your locker. Why are you dragging these back and forth? You don't do homework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Side note.
Yeah. And
I think my theme is just shit that I've loved. It runs currently. so it's because it's not all nostalgia. Like, it's just shit that has made an impact on me, like on some sort of level that I want to see something represented, often.
Right.
Whether that's a fucking, Transformer, G.I. Joe, or Batman from when I was 5, or a Wu-Tang album hung on my wall from when I was 13, or a Pop Smoke plaque from when I was 38, or a fucking Daenerys statue from when I was 25. You know, like I think it's just all about what has tickled my fancy at a moment, and I want some sort of visual representation of it.
Yeah, same, but often running theme of hot chicks.
Well, yeah. Well, I like that too.
Like, I have disproportional amount of like hot chicks in my collection, especially statues. Or even if I like a property, I end up getting the hot chick first or only, even if she might not be my favorite character.
And then he gave us some recommendations. If you guys are interested after the show, I'll read them.
Nice.
I will say that his one for me, I actually checked out and was pretty turned off by it, to be honest. But doesn't mean he's bad people. I appreciate the suggestion.
Right on.
We got one from Billings. He said, I hope Joe is here for this one. Well, Billings, I have news for you.
66% of the time and 100% of the time.
Dreams do come true. So there you are in a fabled devil's threesome.
Wow.
In a bit of a spit roasting action.
With the little London Bridge going with a double high five.
Eiffel Tower, yeah.
And you are taking the front. Because you have to.
Who, me? I'm taking the front?
Yes,
okay.
Because you have to kiss again, and the last thing you want is that messing with your psychology. And then the other dude is obviously in behind. Now, they say that it only is a certain way if you look each other in the eye, right? It only makes you feel a certain way. So how are you going to coordinate the high five to complete the Eiffel Tower?
See?
Because a standard high five takes hand and eye coordination. What do you do?
I give full eye contact, man.
I think, or you could just yell on 3. I think the other person's going to know.
Like, I don't feel like well, actually, we were talking about this on stream yesterday about sexuality and masculinity. It's like, it's only gay if you're gay, bro.
Finger cuffs.
Like,
That's an interesting question. So I mean, an interesting statement, because I do agree with you.
like, it doesn't matter what you do if you don't like it or you don't enjoy it. Like, it doesn't make you fucking gay,
right? Or straight,
Exactly.
You know, like
just because I know gay people with kids, man.
right. So do I.
Maybe you have a sound cue. Maybe you have a soundtrack, and when Joker's in Paris comes on, you can that's your sign to reach for the stars.
There you go. But I think that I think that sexuality really comes down to preference.
Yeah.
And if your preference is overwhelmingly majority of the opposite sex, then that's what you are.
Yeah.
And if it's the other way, then that's what you are. And it really doesn't make any difference what happens in between.
Right.
And if you're comfortable enough to fuck the same chick with another dude, if you're comfortable enough with that dude to be fucking the same chick, you can look him in the eye while you're fucking him.
I like the way you say comfortable.
Ibuka writes in, who I think is too young to have listened to the previous question, but he says, howdy, NRR crew. We all know that comedy is subjective and everyone has their own likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
But is there a type of joke / comedy that you consistently find just flat out funny, whether that be slapstick or deadpan or parody? Or is everything fair game and being a real knee slapper and horn honker? That's about it. Thanks for the pod and thanks for your time. I think that
Bobby likes when people make animals talk. Because I don't think that shit's funny, but I know you think it's hilarious. That one dude.
Yeah, Tony Baker. But I'll tell you, like that poor dude, he like lost his son in like a car accident.
Oh, did he?
And then like his whole social media, like obviously went through some changes. And
wow,
yeah, and it's a bummer. Those parts were great though. I think that I like cringy comedy, but that's not really stand up, right? Yeah. So if we're talking about stand up,
is that what we're talking about specifically stand up? Or just
because he said slapstick. So.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a comedy in general.
Yeah,
the sense of comedy.
Is there a type of joke / comedy? The joke part, I think, is what makes me think of stand up. but I think they're both fair.
Yeah.
I think cringy like I like I like awkward comedy. I like it's just my bag. Like I like Curb Your Enthusiasm. I like The Office. I like a lot of awkward ass comedy.
You heard it here, folks. He said he likes The Office.
Oh, the American one too. The American one too. I like them both. I like them both. I like the Superior one. I like the American one. I like them both. And I think that's probably my cup of tea. And then secondly, I like really dry comedy also. And then I like a lot of stuff that's like either stories like stand up wise. Like I love when Eddie Murphy did that whole bit about getting punched in the face and having to call home and wanted some comfort from his parents, but his dad was drunk and was singing Motown songs wrong to his mom, which is what he did when he was drunk. Like what'd you do to get punched in the lip, Eddie? Nothing. Nobody ever got punched from nothing. Eddie had to do something. Nothing from nothing, leave something. Had to do something. Motherfucker punch you in the mouth. Like, I love that shit. And I like a lot of like
Pissed Off Homelander. That's what you did.
That's it.
And I like a lot of like stuff like these like shared experiences that we all have, but like no one really talks about or thinks to talk about. And then like somebody brings it up in a joking way, and you're like, "Fuck!" Like we all really do that shit, Like I like a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, observational comedy is probably my favorite.
Mine is physical comedy. That's why I watch so much fail videos. I love watching people get hurt in dumb ways.
Yeah, that's always fun too.
That's my wife. That's a go-to. Like I like if I need to like pick me up, that's what I go to. Like it never fails to like make me laugh. But also like just dumb basic shit like body fluids, farts, shit like
that's
jokes.
That's my wife loves that shit too. My wife loves that.
I'm simple.
My wife loves like if there's a banana peel on the road, my wife would just put up a lawn chair and just wait.
I'm good with like highbrow comedy and all that stuff. I can appreciate the intricacies of some like callback comedy.
Yeah.
I love all that shit. I like comedy. Who doesn't like to laugh? But like the basic shit never fails.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I just went and saw Jackass and fucking loved it.
See, that's something you watch for pure comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, for pure entertainment.
Yeah.
Because there's no story.
Yeah, there's no story.
It better have no story or amazing story.
So Blaster wrote in and gave some more some more audios, and I have taken the liberty of going through and picking a few. Here is one.
Hello, I am La Dante from Detroit.
I don't know. Is this one?
My mother, she never loved me.
It's a foreign accent.
It might be. Here's another one.
You fucking dizzy bitch.
Yes.
Love that.
Here's one. George W. Bush. I don't know why, but that's on there. And this one's actually pretty funny here. I'll leave off on this one. Pretty clever here. When you're bagging up these lobsters and the shrimp.
Yes.
Perfect.
Build a booth.
That was pretty fantastic. Andrew M. writes in and has a long one, so to speak. Oh man, that didn't hurt. It didn't matter. Even though I said it, so to speak, I still had to get that one. I'm still guilty somehow. I'm sure you've all gotten into spoilers with the new Batman film, so I feel like it was okay to discuss some of the things that may or may not have caught other viewers that stood out to me. Let's see here. This is going to be spoilery. Just skip ahead for this one. Love the way the Batmobile screeched like a bat menacingly as the engine came to life. Was immediately sold on the new design after that. Love the detail on the way Oz got his archetypal penguin waddle.
Right.
Selena Kyle's acrylic cat claw nails look perfect. Really sold on the Gothic Victorian architecture as well as the Art Deco styles throughout the film. Paul Dano's acting in the Arkham interrogation scene with Batman sounded like an almost word-for-word portrayal of his acting in There Will Be Blood at the I Drink Your Milkshake scene.
Yep.
Love the way that the Riddler and Batman were two sides of the same coin. The boy on the top of the hill and the children at the bottom cemetery about Wayne was icing on the cake. Both of the same goals, blah, blah, blah. This is a little spoilery, so I'm not trying to... overall, the tone was immaculate. I enjoyed the tone as well. Matt Reeves deserves his flowers for creating the most atmospherically perfect world for the Batman to thrive in. I think that's probably true as well.
Yeah, that's a good takeaway.
Not sure if I'm ready for another Joker just yet, but if Reeves is writing and directing, sign me all the way the fuck up. So there you go. KFC, what's happening, Power Rangers? My question today is based off of Bobby's video of the friendships in the community. I myself have made quite a few friends online in the different communities, but made one good friend in the Power Ranger community from buying an item from him about 6 years ago. He asked if I was... Oh, it was actually Power Rangers. He asked if I was going to the big Ranger convention, Power Morphicon, the next year, and I was for the first time, so we just started talking about it. Long story short, I ended up splitting a room with him, and I'll admit I was a bit nervous, but we have become good friends and see each other once a year. Well before the Bud Ice. And we'll be seeing him this year, hopefully. I know in the past I've asked how you guys came together for the podcast, but how did all of you meet for the first time? And is there any other people that you have become real close with, and what's that story?
Well,
Joe and I met from Joe hitting. I made a Maryland joke about Dundalk and Glen Burnie. That the only reason to ever go to Glen Burnie was if you come to a fork in the road, and the other option was Dundalk. And that was my dad's joke. He DM'd me and was like, I live in Maryland. That joke is spot on. And then I was like, well, why aren't we fucking hanging out? We met up. I liked him immediately.
the sex was great.
Sex was good. And then ever since we've been chill, cool ever since. As far as you, I was linked up with the Realm.
It's the Realm. That's how everybody I talk to on a daily basis, short of you two gentlemen, and to an extent because of that still is because of the Realm of Collectors group.
And then I met you in person at the con at
that's when I met you.
Charlotte.
Because of
I
Realm.
met
It was
Charlotte.
a Realm party, I think.
Yep, and then I met you in Chicago.
Yep.
So join the Realm if you're not in the Realm.
The only other ones that spring to mind, I mean, Robert D, obviously, like the dude paid money for a crowdfunding thing that we had on Shattercast to be a guest on Shattercast, and I was fucking terrified that he was going to be like well, guys, in season 2 of Transformers More Than Meets the Eye, I say the whole title, Transformers More Than Meets the Eye, because that is its proper name. And because it's season 2, if you look at Protectobots, specifically, Streetwise...
Where's the gun sound?
I was just trying to think of words that had the most S's in it. Streetwise was my coup de grace.
That's how Tyler became your same thing, right?
Yeah, same thing. Same thing with Tyler. And like I'm super cool with Tyler and Robert to this day. And then the only other person I'm really close with, and this Eric B, because he was proved that he would fight, and then Jisk, who the reason I met him was being on a Realm show and I couldn't get the technology to work, and he was the only person that had an Apple.
How about that?
On over Apple.
Power of the Realm.
Yep.
And you know, some of those same experiences is like the first time I went to Charlotte, I was going to room with people I'd never met in person in my life, and it's kind of jarring. Or like exactly like, you know, I've talked to these people online, but what if they're actually
right? Yeah, you get worried, right?
Because they're raging racists.
Right.
Or Holocaust denier is the other example. Like
or a free-thinking masturbator that doesn't care there's 4 other people in the room. Yeah. We just break toilets instead.
Esteban writes in. He says, my question this week is about deep lore. So in Fast and the Furious 7.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We all saw the Batman this weekend, and it was filled with little nods to the comics and video games from the past. This made me think, what would NRR love to inject into their favorite fandoms, and what makes a good addition to a story? When I saw the word Hush on the Riddler's computer screen, all I could think about was the comic series, and something smaller can be like how Star Wars author Justina Ireland has been trying to introduce Old Bay into her Star Wars stories, and it gets removed every time.
No, I love Old Bay.
Have an awesome week. I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, I wasn't.
Because they keep cutting that shit out, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I don't
call it Chesapeake Bay instead of Old Bay.
Yeah, I don't know what I think it would be. I don't know if I'm in that place where I'm like I would like to see more sprinkles, so to speak, in this stuff. I think that like I would love to see more things in current Star Wars that harken back to either the early prequel era, like Episode 1, before things went to shit, you know, like, or perhaps even before that. I think I would find interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing like some of the old EU stuff, you know, sort of giving nods or whatever, just little moments of respect in Star Wars, but that's the only thing that really springs to mind.
I would love in Star Wars for the Jedi ghosts to be a constant part of the story, and they weren't like Casper the Friendly Ghost. They were just always around.
I want Qui-Gon and Yoda and Anakin and Obi-Wan to be in a crossover with Ghostbusters. And the Ghostbusters have to capture them.
I would watch that.
That would be great.
Bro, I would watch that.
Anyway, turns out that Slimer is actually Yoda, and we didn't know all this time. Crossover event.
I always like when there's like nods to anime. And there's a lot of them. If you know anime, you would see a lot of them a lot of times. Either homages or just straight like things in the background. Like obviously somebody who either made the set or is the director like anime for certain like anime things to be in the background.
You know how many times the Akira bike slide has been used in other things?
I love that meme.
Hundreds of things,
bro.
Oh yeah, that is great. Sean S has Batman stuff, so skip ahead if you don't. He says, hi, NR crew. Eagerly looking forward to your thoughts about Batman. He liked it very much. Doesn't have much more than a nitpick here and there, but I will say I liked the first half better than the second half. I would agree with you, too. In fact, my absolute favorite scene was right in the beginning when the bat signal goes on and all the various crooks in Gotham start freaking the fuck out, thinking Batman is going to emerge from the closest shadow. So cool. I like that, too, and I'll tell you what else I liked about it is sometimes they would just like take the camera and pan to shadows, and sometimes he was there, sometimes he wasn't there, but it's the thought of people considering he could be there.
That was a cool storytelling device, and I liked how much darkness that they used. It was very comic book-esque, very Mike Mignola almost, the way he would black out a page except for the one little light source.
You think it would be a better crime deterrent at that point. If people are that scared of him, you'd think there'd be less crime.
Yes, but there isn't. In fact, he thinks it's one of his issues that he thinks it has gotten worse.
Well, I think it takes care of some of the low-level crime, but
I don't know.
It doesn't seem like
in the beginning it doesn't, because they're all out in the street.
Well, I'm saying, but people look, the bat.
They did seem to use the signal as a bit of a deterrent, that you would see them start to get off the street when they saw the signal go up, which was interesting. Bobby, he'll be at a show this weekend, so after some parts of the show, I'll try to be one of the first 900 people who DMs you saying, did you hear about the new such and such? So good on him for that. And then he wrote back and said, and that was totally Joe Chill in the movie, right? The guy who mouths off to Wayne at the mayor's funeral and then returns at the end as one of the Riddler's followers. You may have already discussed that. If so, just ignore this. I don't even know. I don't know if I caught that
or not.
And then our last question is from Dave.
Dave.
He says, I'm a new listener.
Oh, boy. Welcome, Dave.
We can still get those.
Sorry, I'm a 38-year-old dude, so I fit your normal.
That's us.
So I fit your normal demographic.
There you go.
So still not a woman yet.
It's always you have options, bro.
I stumbled on your podcast as it was suggested as something I may like from Apple Podcasts.
Oh, wow.
See, that's interesting.
So leave us a 5-star review.
Thank you for the reviews.
Yes.
Push us.
That's how that happens.
This might be the first time Apple has suggested a good podcast that I enjoy.
Oh, wow.
I'm currently living in Germany, so I tried listening to podcasts to get my dose of American life and culture that I do truly miss. I listen to 10 podcasts actively, and you are making the 11th.
Nice.
I try to have podcasts of different themes or categories of life so I can stay informed about life back home. You guys have hit that pop culture and nerd life aspect that I didn't have, plus some comedy always helps. I started asking people if they can get me or sell me their baby. People don't find this funny or amusing. So this makes it even more funny after this conversation. I have you guys to thank for that awkward environment I've started at my workplace. I may have some HR discussions coming to me real soon. So I wanted to know a couple things. I apologize if you guys have talked about this before. Do you guys follow any type of sports? This includes fantasy, like fantasy football, basketball, etc.
40-minute follow, like as in knowing players' names and shit. I don't know if any of us are in that spot.
No.
I mean, if you want to count wrestling in that category, I'm all about it. But past that, I used to be able to tell you, I mean, before I really got into collecting big, I could tell you every starting five of the NBA. I kept up with that heavy. I watched NFL, watched NASCAR because, yeah.
And the left turn.
Yeah. Oh, look, he's going right. That ain't going to work out too good for number 7. He's going backwards.
I like letting it rise sometimes.
Me too.
I mean, but yeah, wrestling's the only thing I keep up with from a sports standpoint anymore.
I used to keep up with UFC. I like fights. So I will watch fights. If I have to watch a sport, it's either fight sports or nowadays volleyball. Love to watch volleyball, especially the ladies. Tall ladies.
I'm definitely not watching the men's. I'm only watching the ladies.
Beach volleyball, especially, right? But like, I know it is considered a sport. I don't personally consider it a sport. I consider it a pageant, but I keep up with bodybuilding.
Oh, right. I don't keep up with any sports at all. However, if I had to watch a sport, it would be either boxing, which I do enjoy watching, and I do somewhat keep up on, like, I might know the players and stuff, but I'm not watching every fight. I'm not keeping up. I'm not following them or any of that shit. And then the other sport that I do enjoy watching, I just don't enjoy watching it enough to ever put it on over anything else.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is baseball.
Yeah. There are like when there's nothing else on, and like when I was in Japan, I do put on some sports that there's some sport like volleyball, tennis, sometimes soccer, but even though I like playing soccer, but like
the game of low scoring passes and ties, as in The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's it. Now I like going to sporting events.
Maybe nets like ping pong too, right?
Yeah.
Table tennis. But yeah, I like all.
Of course. Now, I'd much rather, if I have to watch a baseball game, I'd much rather be there than try to watch it because it's so long. Yeah. Well, there's so much nuance to it.
I just hate the traffic of leaving a baseball game.
Yeah,
it's probably not so bad now, but like in general, like I would always leave like in the 7th inning because it was like just beat.
Let's not talk about leaving before we get there, Bobby.
Figure skating, I enjoy the fuck out of figure skating. I think it's
so. Of course. Listen, I'm not gonna. Here's the thing. I call that an Olympic sport. I'm probably wrong,
and I only basically watch it when Olympics is on.
But it's open. You know,
I do enjoy it all year. Yeah, like if it's on TV, I will stop what I'm doing to like at least look over for the routine.
So this ain't gonna be a sports show
and gymnastics.
Yeah, unfortunately not. But I don't know. Like, so here's the thing about the skating thing. Like, I can watch it like maybe once every 4 years. Like, it's pretty good, the Olympics or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's like ballet for me. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is like, I know that they're all physically talented, and I know that they have this skill, but I do feel like it's like the same shit rearranged in every fucking.
It is,
you know, and that's what like I beef with Laura all the way about it. I'm like, if we see one ballet, can we just say we saw one, and then just sort of just imagine it in our head in different orders and say we've seen them all?
I will say.
It's not a knock. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I understand your comparison, but I will say in figure skating, I know this past time, it seems like they've increased the athleticism. They're doing like a quadruple spin now instead of a triple spin.
They're just ramping things up.
Yeah, you know, sooner or later they're just going to take off and fly away.
Yeah,
like helicopter with lightsabers.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is your favorite?
Gymnastics? I love gymnastics.
The next one is, who is your favorite key grip in any movie?
It was Scotty.
Yeah, Scotty's the good.
I'm going to go with my buddy Daniel Harvey because he's a hell of a key grip.
Scotty McPippin.
Scotty McPippin. Don't get him confused with the basketball guy.
He gets it all the time.
No, and it's not McPimpin either.
No. And you are. So I'm going to read these next two questions back to back. So before you answer the first, you are being forced to replace one person in your podcast group with someone else. Who would you replace?
You already did that.
Who would you replace?
Set. You need it.
I did, for the record, I didn't I did replace them in a manner of speaking, but I didn't remove them, for the record. And with whom? And then the next question is, after this person finds out you want them replaced, do you think they'll understand why they suck so bad and you hate them? Wow. And then he said, thanks for all you do. I was going to say there was something I wanted to add on. I wanted to piggyback on what he said. So he said he found this through Apple recommendations.
Yeah.
If likely just the same as I would like to hear from any women that listen to this, which clearly
just
none don't.
Just give me something simple. Just W. Just send us W, and
yes,
we'll know.
We'll know.
You don't have to say anything else to us. Just type us a W.
Yeah. They're probably worried that I'll write them back.
Probably so.
Much like that, I am curious if you found this podcast through any means outside of
Someone telling you about it, I guess.
Bobby Skullface YouTube channel, Enter the Realm, or Twitch, or Shattered Cast.
That's how I found this.
Hey, real quick, shout out to Twitch. I needed Joe. I needed to ask him a question the other day. I looked at it. He hadn't been online like 38 minutes. I said, it was like 4:30. He's like, this motherfucker's on Twitch.
Yep.
So I go with a Twitch stream and drop in the chat, Joe, what size do you need these? And Krista seems, she's like, Joe, Joey, what's, she was very confused.
This Pinker 10, bro. Come on.
Awesome.
But, that's how you can get me.
That's how I knew I could get him. And I looked like, yeah, he's there with his shirt off. Okay. Probably don't have his phone, but anyway.
Shaking my ass, man.
We got it squared away.
Someone's got to pay both down here.
Totally forgot where we were at.
If you found this outside of any of these memes.
Oh, yeah. And then we're supposed to be really mean to each other.
We're supposed to be what?
Who's leaving and who are we replacing them with?
Oh, I took that question as a joke. I don't think there's any way to really answer that.
Yeah, I don't know that there is either.
I'll replace myself with Paul C.
Only.
Specifically.
Oh, man. If that's the game we're playing.
You know, I do.
I'll replace myself with Bobby.
I do. I just put a mirror.
Yeah.
I do wish that we could get like some of the other guys, like, you know, like Dante and Evan and Phil and Casey and Chucky O. Like, I wish we could get more guys in here more regularly.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. All right, man. All right, but that being said, shout out to the rest of the Cool Table. If you listen to this podcast, as far as I'm concerned, you're part of the Cool Table too. And shout out to the rest of the Nerve Rage team. We got, I almost said Paul C.
Welcome to the crew, bro. You got drafted.
Shout out to Phil on our notes and on Twitter. Shout out to Dante on Facebook. Shout out to Raul on Instagram. And shout out to Ricky Tiki Timber on the videos and everybody else that may or may not work behind the scenes. And with that,
Flappy labius.
Tasty taint.
tight dick player.